Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. National Magic. Daily Check-In, specializing in thunder. Chapter 61. How long has Huan Ming been in? On the side of the Qian Empire, Zhang Tianxi suddenly asked his companion next to him. It's been almost 10 days. His companion was stunned for a while, and then replied. The national conditions of the Qian Empire are very different from those of the Yan Empire and the Huang Empire. They do not have a magic academy in their country, but they have established the Qian Empire Mage House. This means that if people in the Qian Empire want to learn magic, they must enter the Mage's Mansion, and the Mage's Mansion is under the Qian Empire's military headquarters. Therefore, every mage born in the empire is basically awakened from the empire. This led to the cohesion of the Qian Empire to be higher than that of the other two empires. This is also the reason why only about 300 people from Qian Empire came. The Qian Empire does not allow other mages of the Qian Empire to enter the secret realm of the 72 heavenly pillars without authorization. Of course, this approach also has enough confidence in the strength of the three heroes of the Qian Empire. The so-called three heroes of generations are the three Tianzhao who won the top 3 places in the Tianzhao competition last year, all from the Qian Empire. First, Zhang Tianxi. Second, Lu Hongshe. Third, Renew the Old. The Huan Ming that Zhang Tianxi had just mentioned was one of their companions, and he was also in front of them now. The difference is that this companion has stepped into the time barrier, affected by the stillness of time, and is like a sculpture at this time. Your Majesty once said that most of the man-made secret realms in the world of the Ruins continent have an inheritance mechanism. At this time, the barrier cannot be broken from the outside, and you can only enter actively. But it has been almost 10 days, why is there no sign yet? Zhang Tianxi frowned. In his conception, the time barrier will be automatically dispelled due to the entry of outsiders. This can also explain why this kind of enchantment does not restrict the entry of the outside world. Otherwise, this magical barrier involving time cannot be broken from the outside world at all. The secret realm of the 72 Tianzhu is so vast, it must be one of the refuges for human beings in the world of the ruined continent. There should be many inheritances in this geography, and it is only waiting for the latecomers to enter. To Zhang Tianxi's surprise, there are not only human beings in the Tianzhu royal court, but also other alien and subhuman races. This shows that it is not impossible for a unified magic dynasty to exist in the ruins continent. That Lu Ning just now seemed to be quite powerful, was able to easily break the god-given blood magic. Well, his lightning power seems to be a bit too pure at this level of the 6th level. At this time, Lu Hongshe and Wen Guxin talked about Lu Ning just now. HMPH. The big brother was just playing for fun, and he wasn't serious at all. Besides, that Lu Ning from the Yan Empire, after being warned by brother Tianxi, didn't he run away with his tail between his legs, and he didn't even dare to fart. A domineering girl's voice broke in. When the two Tianzhao saw it, they suddenly felt a headache. This is Zhang Tianxi's younger sister, Yu. This girl's personality made Lu Hongshe and the two of them a headache. She opened her mouth and shut up because she was her own big brother, and relying on her own big brother's prestige, it could be said that she performed her arrogance to the extreme. But Zhang Tianxi loves his younger sister very much. I'm not right. Zhang Yu raised her proud chin, looking at the two of Lu Hongshe. You're right. At the level of the 6th level of the Blue Star, no one can be out of God's favor. This is common sense. Those who can ignore his warning are probably only the 6th level of alien races who have never dealt with it before. Lu Hongshe replied. Zhang Yu pursed her lips. The big brother is still too kind. Anyone who dared to let the big brother look up to me just now is already a dead man in our dry empire. She continued to beep for a few more words, and then stopped. Coming. At this moment, Zhang Tianxi suddenly called out in a low voice. In his sight, the companion, Huan Ming, directly in front of him was in a state of static time, but he was trying to move his fingers. The slightly waggling fingers just verified Zhang Tianxi's guess. Once the time barrier of Tianzhu Royal Court recognizes that an outsider has entered, it will be automatically released. The inheritance inside will be completely open to future generations. Look, it's the reckless person who entered the time barrier before, and his body is recovering. The time barrier is going to be broken. At the same time, Everyone in the other 3 directions of Tianju Royal Court is aware of this change. Suddenly, a lot of magic flying props rose into the sky, and everyone was holding their breath, waiting for the moment when the time barrier was completely broken to rush in, and the near-water tower would be the first to get the moon. But there are also many people who stand still and wait quietly for the situation to change, thinking that it may not be a good thing to take the lead in such a situation, and they will be attacked by others. Lu Ning, who doesn't understand why the time barrier tends to dissipate. He was in a bad mood right now. Is it really because of me? No wonder he came up with such an idea. One is that he can feel the guidance in the dark, which is very mysterious and can be called an illusion. But there's no reason for him. It hasn't been long since Lu Ning came here, and the time barrier here is about to dissipate. He came more than half a month late and still caught up, just in time. For this series of coincidences, it is strange that Lu Ning does not match himself. However, there was not much time for Lu Ning to think. The time barrier in front of me suddenly broke apart without warning. The residents of the Tianju Royal Court who were frozen did not come back to life at this time, but directly turned into soot and dissipated in the sky and the earth. But those 6th order mages who followed immediately resumed their actions. Swish swish swish. After confirming that they had resumed their actions, the magical flying props all over the sky flew towards the most central palace of Tianju Royal Court almost at the same time like 10,000 arrows. Let's go. On Zhang Tianxi's side, with a wave of his hand, he is about to lead more than 300 elite 6th ranks of the empire into the Tianju Royal Court. However, this generation's strongest Tianzhao just took a step, but suddenly his eyes froze. Interesting. He turned his head sharply, and a cluster of thunderlight was immediately reflected in his eyes. The thunderlight was thousands of meters away from them, but it rushed into their crowd in the blink of an eye. This stunned the elite 6th order mages of the Qian Empire. They are an elite team led by generations of 3 masters, and there will be no short-sighted guy on Blue Star who would dare to cause trouble. But unfortunately, there really is one. When the Lei Guang figure rushed into their crowd, a purple eye mark flashed on everyone's head. Thousands of lightning prisoners. The figure of thunderlight instantly spread into endless thunderlight, completely covering Zhang Tianxi and others. Thunderbolt! Thunderbolt! The lightning field unfolded, and the ground under his feet seemed to turn into a long river of lightning, and the continuous thunder and lightning attacks surged. The Eye of Thunder Punishment Evil Yao was completely detonated in conjunction with Wan Lei Tian Prison. Tianjia Blood Clothes. Zhang Tianxi didn't show obvious panic or anger, but raised his right hand, and put a layer of blood-colored armor on his younger sister Zhang Yu to resist the lightning strike. As for the others, he obviously has this ability, but he has not acted. Among the 3 empires, Qian Empire is the one that most adheres to the doctrine of superiority and inferiority, and hierarchical distinctions. In Qian Empire, the strong eat everything, and the incompetent and mediocre are only worthy of being exploited and eliminated. If his subordinates couldn't even stop the lightning strike, then naturally it would be of no use to him, and he would not sympathize with the incompetence of the weak. It is also because of Zhang Tianxi's deep-rooted philosophy. As a result, a face-to-face effort resulted in dozens of Qian Empire 6th order mages being seriously injured and dying. The rest had injuries of varying degrees, but they were not serious, and some reacted and took defensive measures in advance, but they were only slightly affected. Zhang Tianxi held his right hand empty. A piece of paper appeared in his hand. It says, "Center, come here." Zhang Tianxi stared at the paper in his hand and remained silent for a while. After a while, he snorted softly and crushed the paper. "Let's go." He then gave another order to leave the seriously injured companion behind, and lead the rest into the Tianju Royal Court. Look at Lu Ning again. He did not join Xiao Xiao and the others, but was alone, flying slowly towards the center of the royal court. Just now he issued a challenge letter with his thunder avatar, which was just the most basic tit for tat. Then why Zhang Tianxi shot at him and Xiao Xiao involuntarily? How could Lu Ning bear this tone? The other party is also at the 6th level, of the same level, Lu Ning also needs to endure. If Xiao Xiao hadn't been by his side at that time, Lu Ning would have been able to flirt long ago for fear of affecting her. Things have changed now. Lu Ning is indeed not very interested in sequence magic, but if he doesn't fight for the sequence magic in front of him, then what is he? If Lu Ning didn't even have the courage to fight, Lu Ning would despise himself. So set in the center of the royal court. When the time comes to meet Zhang Tianxi at Wangting Center, Lu Ning will have a top lane match with him. Lu Ning didn't think that Zhang Tianxi would allow his companions to attack him. As the strongest talent in the generation, it is impossible that he didn't even have the guts to single out. Furthermore, he is not afraid of being beaten by a group. Lu Ning got off the magic airship at this time. Seen from a high altitude, the royal court is divided into 5 areas. The central area centered on the royal palace occupies the largest area, and there are 4 areas in the southeast, north, and west. Lu Ning is currently in the eastern region. After he landed, a battle broke out not far away, and the intensity of the magic competition was enough to see the intensity. With glasses on, some architectural and landmark texts are also apparent. Tianzhu Wangting Dongcheng Magic Library House. Lu Ning's eyes fell on a high-rise palace in front of him, and then his eyes were fixed, and he rushed away. This magic library is so conspicuous, how could only Lu Ning discover it? It's already been fought over here. Go away. Lu Ning broke into the fighting crowd forcefully. Court death. His arrogant posture immediately aroused dissatisfaction among others, and they turned around and attacked him. Thunder in the palm. Thunder in the palm. Thunder in the palm. Clap palm palm. Lay lay lay. Without saying a word, Lu Ning began to indiscriminately bombard the surrounding crowd with his palms flat. He is like a magic machine gun, and his hands are pushing back and forth quickly like a turbocharger. With the support of a huge amount of magic power, Lu Ning was not afraid of the consumption of palm thunder at all. He bombarded the surroundings indiscriminately with a frequency of 100 shots per second. And for the power of the palm thunder, the control is also extremely delicate. As for the blue star human mage, Lu Ning would not kill directly without explanation, but mainly retreated in shock. However, for foreigners, Lu Ning is not so kind. What magic is this? Isn't he worried that the magic power in his body will run out? Hey, this place is really not for normal people to come to. How long has it been since you met a 6th order monster? Everyone yelled in horror and kept backing away. A few minutes later, the 6th order foreign race present died and fled. The human mage realized that Lu Ning was merciful, but did not leave immediately. This is the dividing line. If you step over it, you will die. Lu Ning took out his lightning gun and drew a line on the ground. He didn't bother to explain, and then walked into the magic library yard in front of him. Everyone was terrified, no one dared to speak out, and no one dared to step forward. After Lu Ning entered, the mages in front of the magic library courtyard opened their mouths in surprise. Who was that? It seems to be Lu Ning from the Tianan province of the Yan Empire. He has become famous recently, but as a freshman, he is already at the 6th level, and has a proud record of killing dozens of people of the same level. I've never seen that kind of magic attack. Is the magic in his body a bottomless pit? The other party has already kept his hand. We go to other places, there is no need to fight this evildoer at all. But there may be ancient magic that has been lost in the magic library. Even if you get one, it's worth the trip. People hesitated. Rather than competing for sequence magic, it may be more suitable for their level of strength to find lost ancient magic. But the opportunity was right in front of him, but a monster from blocked the door. Lu Ning has just shown enough strength. All of a sudden, everyone was afraid to ignore Lu Ning's warning. Over time, more and more people are paying attention to the magic library. What are you doing? Are you standing guard here? Is there any danger in there? Most of us are mages from the Yan Empire. What do you think about driving away mages from other empires? Later mages couldn't help being very puzzled when they saw that no one dared to step forward. Someone wanted to find out what was in the magic library, and accidentally crossed the line that Lu Ning turned into. Boom! The moment that person crossed the line, a figure seemed to teleport to him, and with a sudden swing of the lightning spear in his hand, he exploded the person's head. The headless body fell heavily. Lu Ning glanced at the others indifferently, and then entered the magic library yard again. Why didn't you remind him just now? Crazy, why should I remind him? It's so good. Shortly after, another team arrived. Public cultivation. When they saw the appearance of the young man headed by that group of people, everyone subconsciously stepped aside. The existence of the top 10 in the Tianjiao competition is itself an extremely powerful deterrent. What's going on here? Gong Shoujun took the teammate he recruited and turned back to the person next to him. It's Lu Ning from Tianan College, who monopolizes the magic library here and doesn't let us in. Anyone who dares to cross that line will die. The person who was questioned replied like this. There is some posture of watching the show between the words. Gong Shoujun was stunned when he heard this. Then he looked at the line under his feet, and without hesitation, he was about to step over it. Nourish! A thunderbolt flashed out from the library courtyard and landed at Gong Shoujun's feet. The meaning of the warning was self-evident. Gong Shoujun looked up and saw that Lu Ning was leaning against the gate of the library courtyard, holding the thunder gun in both hands, and looked at him indifferently. Student Lu Ning, I am a public cultivator. Don't cross that line. Lu Ning pointed to the line under his feet, and didn't respond to his self-reporting. The teammates behind Gong Shoujun all showed astonished expressions. Others are eager to put out popcorn and coke. This made Gong Shoujun look a little ugly for a while. He didn't want to waste time on meaningless things. He searched for a building before and got a lot of money. This made him even more convinced that the Tianju Royal Court is a huge treasure house waiting to be excavated, and not even a second of time should be wasted. It seems that Junior Lu Ning has become famous recently, and he can't see himself clearly. He even forgot the most basic respect for seniors. Don't cross that line. However, Lu Ning still ignored the public cultivation and repeated a sentence like a repeater. I crossed. How? Gong Shoujun stepped forward and crossed that line. Seeing the public cultivator like this, Lu Ning, who was leaning against the gate of the library, couldn't help standing up straight. It looks like we're going to fight. After all, Gong Shoujun was the 8th place in the Tianjiao competition last year, and he was the leader. Now that a year has passed, his strength is probably even more terrifying. But we've all seen it before, so Lu Ning is definitely not a good person. I'm a fellow student, so why are you in such a rush? Hee, let's fight. Can't wait. The people around were eager to see this farce of the same family, and they were all gloating in their hearts. But after looking at it, before the battle broke out between the two, the people around had already stepped back tactfully. Student Lu Ning, there are too many places in Tianju Royal Court that are worth exploring, and the secrets of human civilization in the ruined world can also be unraveled. Now is not the time for our family to fight our own family. A third-year schoolgirl following Gong Shoujun is trying to dissuade Lu Ning. It's useless to talk too much. It's just a matter of seeing the truth. I think Lu Ning's junior has the kind of character that only recognizes fists. You should all go away. It's just a little more effort. Gong Shoujun raised his hand and signaled his teammates to stand back and watch. Wait until everyone takes the initiative to get out of the way. Suddenly, a short explosion sounded, and in the eyes of everyone, Lu Ning's figure turned into a lightning bolt without warning. The thunder and lightning figure was brilliant and swift, like a lightning strike, like a long rainbow passing through the sky, without giving anyone any time to react. Gravity magic 10 times gravity. Seeing such an almost teleporting raid speed, Gong Shoujun didn't show any signs of panic. On the contrary, he looked extremely calm. Obviously this wasn't the first time he encountered such a type of opponent in Lu Zhang. Then I saw Gong Shoujun pressing the void with his right hand, and the magic circle in his palm rose up. With him as the center, a gravitational field suddenly spread out all around. Lu Ning's extremely fast figure, which could not be caught by the naked eye, suddenly became slow and visible in front of 10 times the gravity. Zzz. Under the influence of strong gravity, Lu Ning's whole body was like a leakage of electricity, and the whole body was full of lightning. However, his movements did not stop, and the lightning gun in his hand still smashed towards Gong Shoujun with force. This made Gong Shoujun shrink his eyes suddenly. The strength of the other party's physical body far exceeded his imagination. Not to mention that 10 times the gravity can directly crush a body refining mage, but it is also enough to make the body refinement mage unable to adapt in a short time, and his movements will be deformed. But Lu Ning didn't have this tendency at all, he was simply slowed down by himself. It was also the reason for the slowing down of the speed that made Gong Shoujun escape Lu Ning's gunshot at a critical moment. Bang! Boom! Lu Ning shot the ground, and a deafening bang exploded out of thin air. The whole ground rumbled continuously like an earthquake, and an exaggeratedly huge crater hundreds of meters high was smashed out. This power! Gong Shoujun was startled suddenly, and quickly cast defensive magic on himself. Cold sweat flowed out on his face, and he no longer had the slightest heart to despise the other party. The strength of this kind of body training is enough to threaten his cultivation. And he also knew that the reason why this junior was famous before didn't seem to be physical strength, but thunder magic. I retreated so far that my legs were numb from the shock. The power of this gun is too exaggerated. Law and body, this Lu Ning, really amazing. This is a battle at the Tianzhao level. It's just a few tricks at the beginning, and it's so terrifying. I thought that I had been invading at the 6th level for many years. Even if I was not as good as Tianzhao, I would not be so bad. The power of Lu Ning's shot was enough to frighten the bystanders. Senior Wu, are we really not going to stop the two of them? Tian'an College still couldn't bear such a situation and wanted to stop it. How to stop it? Lu Ning's strength is even stronger than we imagined. They are all geniuses. Now that the fight has started, it is natural to decide the winner. Don't worry, there should be no deaths. It should be. Sister Wu also felt that her head was a little bigger at the moment, and she had a headache. Thunderbolt. At this time, Lu Ning seemed unwilling to waste time at all, and directly activated Sikong Zhen's ultimate move. Thunderbolt. Suddenly, I saw that Lu Ning had completely exploded his clothes, but there was a layer of thunder and lightning on his body to prevent his clothes from being exposed. His body size has increased a bit compared to before, and the lightning all over his body is as bright as the light of the North Pole, flowing up and down. At the moment when Lu Ning opened up, Gong Shoujun only felt a surge of electric current jumping up and down all over his body. This is an extremely dangerous sign. Is this a special state magic? And the increase rate is far higher than the general state magic. Gong Shoujun quickly made a judgment. He who had put away his contempt at first, was even more engrossed at this moment. Double magic gravity space. Double magic repulsion space. Double magic, gravitational space. With a wave of his right hand, Gong Shoujun cast double magic 3 times in a row, which meant that he had already begun to imprint his spiritual imprint on the magic power in his body. Force, repulsion, attraction. 3 different force fields appeared in the same area, which directly created an extremely chaotic area. However, before his magic was about to show its power, Lu Ning directly threw the lightning gun in his hand towards Gong Shoujun. Puff! The moment the thunder gun was thrown, the tip of the gun immediately exploded a sound barrier, rippling the atmosphere, and then no flight path could be seen, which was extremely terrifying. Golden shield. Gong Shoujun had been prepared for a long time. He immediately took out a defensive shield, and at the same time cast a defensive 6th order magic. The 6th level Tianzhao casts magic, which is naturally instantaneous. Some of the magic that Gong Shoujun is best at are even non-chanting level. When his defensive magic shield and tempered gold shield were sacrificed, the tip of the stun gun appeared in his sight. A face-to-face effort. The urgent thunder gun destroyed the 6th order defensive magic shield, but it was blocked by the tempered gold shield. That must be 7 levels of defensive magic equipment. Ka! Gong Shoujun could clearly hear the sound of his bones trembling. This monster power! He cursed in his heart. He had a shield of tempered gold, and added a layer of defensive magic itself, but was penetrated by some force, and almost took his right arm. It's not that Gong Shoujun has never fought against opponents who are good at explosives, but he doesn't have the thrilling feeling that Lu Ning gave him. In front of Lu Ning, he has to use most of his focus on defense, otherwise he may be seriously injured if he makes a mistake. But at this moment, Gong Shoujun showed confidence on his face. His magical power is unfolding at this moment. Lu Ning, who cast Thunderbolt, couldn't stabilize his body at this time, and was shaking back and forth like a tumbler. Gravity, repulsion, attraction, 3 different force field effects acted on him back and forth, which had a great impact on him. Lu Ning pointed towards the male cultivator in front of him, and the young Wulei immediately splashed and wreaked havoc at his fingertips, but after a while, they were also disintegrated under the action of the force field. This public cultivator really has something in force field magic. Double magic, but there should be quite a few people who can do it at the 6th level. The point is not the multi-level magic, but the power magic of Gong Shoujun. This special magic has no corresponding innate magic talent, and it is extremely difficult to master it the day after tomorrow. The chaotic force field of the public senior has unfolded, and his magic is exactly the nemesis of the body-refining mage. Lu Ning's lightning magic is not weak, but it's hard to say whether he can break through the gravitational field of the public senior. It's kind of interesting. This really reminds me of the scene where the Tianzhao fought fiercely in the arena of the Tianzhao competition last year. The mages who were watching seemed to have forgotten their purpose of coming here for a while, and they were keen to see the outcome between the two of them quickly. At this time, Lu Ning was only 20 meters away from Gong Shoujun. But such a small distance, it seems that it will never be touched. He used the lightning attack, but the lightning itself couldn't bypass the effect of the chaotic force field, and couldn't show its true power. I wanted to force myself through this chaotic force field with my body, but the direction of the center of gravity was always disturbed, and I lost my own balance support point, so I couldn't talk about breaking out. How is this going? At this time, another group of people came around. It was the Tianan Guild group. Xiao Xiao in their team saw the scene in front of him, and his face immediately changed. Sister Wu spread her hands and said, the schoolmaster wanted to enter the library, but Lu Ning refused to let him, so the two of them clashed. Is Lu Ning such a domineering character? Tisk, why is there internal strife at this time? Someone discovered an underground secret room over there. There are many scholars' books on magic research in it. Most of us are anxious with other forces over there. This is to cheer for others. Go. Tell them to stop quickly. This is related to the interests of Tianan Guild and Tianan College. Put aside your own conflicts for now. The members of the guild frowned one after another. There were only a dozen of them here, and it was really a shock. But no one paid attention. To meddle in the victory and defeat among Tianzhao, ordinary people really dare not do that. The members of the guild were just talking about it, but they didn't dare to really intervene. Xiao Xingyu looked at Xiao Xiao, counting on his sister to persuade Lu Ning, but seeing that the other party didn't respond, he gave up. Strange. Xiao Xingyu heard his sister mutter. He couldn't help asking, what's strange? Lu Ning doesn't seem to be using his best move. Of course I can't use it. It's Gong Xiujun's chaotic force field. He relied on this combination of magic to make great progress in the Tianzhao competition. It is extremely restrictive. It's not surprising that Lu Ning can't use effective magic. Xiao Xingyu said helplessly. After all, is there still a gap of 1 year? Xiao Nichen thought in his heart. Xiao Xiao was talking about dragon-slaying magic. She didn't know about dragon-slayer magic, but she and Lu Ning had experienced the Five Elements Maharaja's key cemetery together, so she could naturally perceive Lu Ning's strongest thunder magic. And, at that time he remembered that Lu Ning had signs of becoming a dragon. In addition, there is a move that devours the magic power of the fire system to increase the state dramatically. Anyway, she just felt that Lu Ning seemed to have a lot of tricks that he didn't use. It's almost ready. At this time, Gong Shoujun said to Lu Ning, who was shaking the garden. There is another trick. After Lu Ning finished speaking, purple light suddenly appeared in the abdomen. He pressed one hand on the abdomen, and then slowly pulled out a purple sword. New moves. Xiao Xiao's beautiful eyes lit up. But how come Lu Ning's moves are so novel every time? He hides magic weapons in his body. No, it's not like a magic weapon, the knife. I feel horrible. Everyone's eyes were focused on Meng Yixin, and their hearts trembled subconsciously. Gong Shoujunhu's mind. After a shock, the influence of the chaotic force field weakened. Not good. As soon as he thought of this, he saw Lu Ning swiping his saber out of nowhere, and a purple thunderstorm immediately swept across the area, completely annihilating his public cultivator's chaotic force field. Gong Shoujun rushed forward suddenly, and he predicted it in advance. The moment he rushed forward, Lu Ning's figure appeared in the position where he was just now. Then he turned around, as if in a jumper back posture, and drew a picture frame with the fingers of both hands, and then took a photo of Lu Ning. Quadruple Magic Supergravity Suppression. Quadruple Magic, this is already one of Gong Shoujun's strongest moves. But in terms of the magic breaking effect of Meng Yixin, the effect of this trick still cannot be maximized. Lu Ning holds the dream in his hand, and every time he slashes down, it sets off a huge thunderous momentum. Bang bang bang. Boom boom boom. Gong Shoujun relied on the hardened gold shield to protect himself, his figure kept retreating, and he kept shouting in his heart. How could it not work? What kind of magic is he, and why is he able to break his own gravity? That is supergravity suppression, the magic that he has been studying day and night. Quadruple magic means that he has cast supergravity suppression 4 times at the same time. With the help of the seriality of his own spiritual imprint, the power of the supergravity suppression magic has been greatly enhanced. It is much stronger than the 4 consecutive effects. In the constant forced retreat, Gong Shoujun was unknowingly forced to retreat into the library hall. He would never admit defeat so easily, and when he was about to cast other spells, he suddenly caught a glimpse of a figure out of the corner of his eyes. Maid Zhao. He took the time to turn his head to look, and the whole person was completely stunned. I saw that the management desk of the library yard was dusty, and another Lu Ning was concentrating on reading a book that looked like a diary. Lu Ning. Gong Shoujun suddenly realized something, and his brain went blank like a crash. At this time, the Thunder Clone walked into the library yard, glanced at Lu Ning, and then disintegrated into a thunderbolt that flowed into Lu Ning's body. Magic Clone. Seeing this scene, Gong Shoujun's eyes were completely numb and lost their luster. He just fought against Lu Ning's Tier 1 magic avatar. Ha ha ha, my all-out opponent turned out to be a magic clone. I can't beat it, ha ha ha. Thinking of the fellowship, the seniors can choose some magic books here to take away. Lu Ning said without raising his head. However, this understatement is undoubtedly a huge invisible harm to Gong Shoujun. No. Gong Shoujun put away the hardened gold shield and stepped out of the library courtyard. After seeing a figure walking out of the library yard, Senior Sister Wu was about to speak, but stopped suddenly. In her sight, the distraught Gong Shoujun came out with blank eyes. This caused Senior Sister Wu to set off a huge storm like a raging wave. It seems that Gong Shou really loses all his energy and energy all at once. This is not a physical defeat, but a mental one. Gong Shoujun didn't explain anything, just greeted feebly, and left the place with Senior Sister Wu and others. Zhang Tianxi. What did you say, Senior Public? Gong Shoujun looked back at the library and remembered Lu Ning's expression of concentrating on reading. He couldn't help thinking, if he was born a year earlier, Zhang Tianxi, is he really the strongest in this generation? Today is the 500th year of the Tianju calendar, Zhou Feihong's 18th birthday, and the day when I will enter Tianju Academy. My father and mother are proud of me. Is this the Tianju Academy? I saw His Majesty the Great Tianju King. There are 50 million people in the entire Tianju King Court, and only 50,000 people are eligible to enter, and I am one of them. It seems that there are many people who are more powerful than me. I became a 5th level mage at the age of 18, and I am already the best group in Linhai City. 6th order mage level. What? The freshman representative is only 15 years old, a 15-year-old 6th rank mage. This is outrageous. His name is Feng Eri, and he is the second son of Tianju General Feng Yanwen. On this day, I remembered the name Feng Eri. When I was writing this text, I kept thinking about the figure of the vigorous young man on the stage. His eyes were full of confidence. I think there are many girls should fall in love with him at first sight. While Lu Ning's Thunder Clone was fighting Gong Shoujun, Lu Ning himself was reading a diary. The diary comes from an administrator named Zhou Feihong in the library. The dust on the management desk is the soot he turned into after the time barrier was lifted. At first, Lu Ning read other people's diaries with the mind of gossip. After all, whoever writes a diary is a serious person. There must be some unscrupulous content, such as, I have nothing to do today, go to the bar to listen to music, and the like. However, as he continued to read, he gradually became immersed in it. From this diary, Lu Ning also seems to have gained some understanding of the existence of the Tianju royal court. By the way, Lu Ning's Thunder avatar has 1/10 of Lu Ning's body's combat power, and it is far less than 1/10 under the limit explosion. Except for the dragon-slaying magic that requires dragon power, the Thunder Clone can use most of Lu Ning's other moves, including the full set of Sikong Gen and the full set of Thunder General, but the power is the youth version. The Thunder avatar can even share talents with himself, such as the Wheel of Wishes and 100 Eyes, that actively absorbs the power of the thunder element between heaven and earth, but the physical talent of excellent defense body cannot be shared. Thunder Dun and Thunder Clone. This is not a well-known move. Because of Lu Ning's own super strength, it was lifted to a whole new level by Lu Ning. It's a pity that there are no multiple thunder clones, and once many thunder clones are condensed, the combat power of a single thunder clone will also decrease, and the disadvantages outweigh the benefits. From the very beginning, Lu Ning wanted to rely on the thunder clone to drive others away. Even if he met Tianzhao Gong Shoujun, he didn't expect the latter to be able to defeat him, just delaying time. But it never occurred to him that he seemed to have overestimated the current strength of the world's top talent. Or maybe it was a little underestimating the power of General Thunder's ultimate move. All in all, Gong Shoujun was a little surprised by the result that he couldn't win the Thunder Clone, so he thought about thinking more about the Thunder Dun and Thunder Clone in the future. He continued to look at the diary in his hand. My magic talent is magic analysis, which is an extremely suitable talent for a magic scholar, and I also chose this direction, which made me feel like a duck to water in the academy for a while. Much attention. My teacher told me to let me do more useful magic research in the future for future generations to pass on. Quote. At this time, I didn't realize that descendants did not refer to the descendants of our Tianzhu people. Half a year after entering the school, Feng Eri, who had left a deep impression on me before, came to me with a girl and asked me to help analyze 10 kinds of magic. Feng. Everyone said that he is a peerless genius who has never been seen before and will never be seen in the future. He is not a child of elements, but he was able to become a 6th-rank genius at the age of 15. Half a year later, he even reached the top of the school. Number 1 in the power list. Yes, even a senior who is 3 years older than him can't beat him. I can't believe what kind of existence this is. Maybe he can break the curse that the Tianzhu world can't break through to the 7th level. The girl next to him is so beautiful. Her name is Xia. What a nice name. When I saw Feng Niani again, it was in the stands of the Tianmingtai. Feng Niani lived up to everyone's expectations and became the leader of the Tianmingtai, and became the first person in the 500-year history of the establishment of the Tianzhu royal court to win the Tianzhu Dharma. The inheritor recognized by Kai. That's one of the 10 most powerful magics. One of the 10 most powerful taboo magics in ancient times, and the armor of destiny has its own consciousness. People who are not destiny can't get his approval at all. Feng Eri has completely become a well-known figure in the Tianzhu king's family. Everyone who talks about him will unconsciously feel emotion and admiration. His prestige is only below that of His Majesty Tianzhu King for a while. After getting the armor of destiny, Feng 21 actually took the initiative to find me, saying that he was grateful for my magic analysis half a year ago, and we became friends along the way, and Xia. Seeing this, the light in Lu Ning's eyes flickered involuntarily. He had never heard of the term 10 absolute magic, but the name of the 10 most powerful forbidden magic in ancient times was enough to make people daydream. Is the armor of destiny still in the secret realm of the 72 heavenly pillars? Lu Ning felt a fire in his heart for no reason. He suddenly felt that he was being guided in the dark, and it was the armor of destiny that was calling him. It's quite normal logic. Compared to Tianzhao and evildoers, it's the real destiny to hang on. Lu Ning read on. Feng Eri seems to be in a bad mood recently. I heard that he has joined the Tianzhu Wang Ting army, but the task he performed was to check whether someone gave birth without the permission of the Wang Ting. Such a peerless figure is useless. I seem to be able to feel his sorrow. I asked my teacher several times, Tianzhu world is big enough to accommodate billions of people, why do we have to control the population of our Tianzhu people at around 50 million? The city is so big that there are often only hundreds of thousands of people live there. The teacher just told me that the world is limited. Once the number of Tianzhu people increases, the Tianzhu world will not be able to bear it, so I won't mention it. 3 years later, I realized that the reason why Tianzhu people cannot step into the 7th step is not because of our magic spell, but because the entire Tianzhu world is covered by sequence magic and the laws of heaven and earth. We can't break through to the 7th level, and we can't see the higher level magic world. I seem to know the dark side of the royal court. In the entire Tianzhu royal court, only the Tianzhu king can break through to the 6th level by ignoring the law. Is this the way His Majesty Weiju ruled? But how narrow it is. Feng Eri approached me again. He didn't exchange pleasantries, but told me that we are free right away. I was a little confused, but looking at his expression, I seemed to know that he might. To overthrow Tianju Wangting. Isn't it to overthrow the Tianju royal court? Feng Eri said that the world we live in is just a world of enchantment, and the world outside is wider and more exciting. He wants to take us out of here and go to the real world. I am very hesitant. Feng 21 is Feng 21. He has a peerless talent and a strong charisma, but what about me? I can only study magic, and I dare not even express my feelings for Xia. In the 505th year of the Tianju calendar, this is the most painful day for the royal court. The name Feng Eri has become a taboo on this day. He took advantage of the Tianju king's deep sleep and led his followers to attack Tianju. Wang Ting, with just one move of the 8th level of magic, will teach you Tianju Wang Ting's army to be wiped out. That's Tianju Wang Tingjun. All of them are BGAF elite teachers from Tianju Academy, and they are not the enemy of Feng Eri in one move. Eightfold magic. That is eightfold magic. I have mastered 8 layers of magic at the first level, which is completely beyond the scope of my understanding of magic. How can a 6th level mage master eightfold magic that can only be mastered by an 8th level mage? Wang Ting was defeated. Feng 21 took away 15 of Wang Ting's 20 types of sequential magic, and he forcibly passed them on to his followers. They have left the Tianju world. Xia also followed Feng 21 and left. Seeing this, Lu Ning turned to the next page, but it turned out to be blank. His expression immediately turned bad. This can also be broken. Lu Ning then became a little quiet. 20 years old, 6th level mage, 8-layer magic, 20 kinds of sequence magic. It is not so much a diary, but rather a concise, 21 tales of the wind. Just from these brief descriptions, Lu Ning has a figure of a young man in high spirits and high spirits in his mind. For a long time, Zhou Feihong did not keep a diary. Fortunately, the diary is not completely over. In the last few pages, there is still some content. Now is the 555th year of the Tianju calendar, and 50 years have passed. Although no one talks about Feng Eri anymore, the younger generation of little guys don't know what a heaven-defying and peerless figure appeared among our Tianju people. Although Feng Eri left this world, he left behind the seeds of rebellion, and more people want to know the truth of the world. The voices of rebellion gradually appeared in the cities, and it turned into a war. One city after another was destroyed in front of the crazy rebels, but His Majesty the Tianju King, whom we had high hopes for, did not take action in person. How can the law's restrictions really fight against him? Feng Niani also attacked Tianju royal court while he was asleep. His Majesty Tianju King has hidden secrets that no one knows about. He can't leave the court of Tianju King, maybe he can't make a move at all. That's right, since this is an enchantment world, and the existence of the law of heaven and earth must be maintained, His Majesty Tianju King must be completely bound to it, and has no intention of doing anything else. In the 560th year of the Tianju calendar, Xia has returned. The girl in my heart has now turned into an old woman, but looking at her, what imprinted in my eyes is still the girl who used to be beautiful and lovely. I'm very surprised, after so many years, after leaving the world of Tianju, how can she still be at the 6th level? Xia brought back the armor of destiny, and she told me that the outside world will eventually permeate. Once you step into the 7th level, you will fall into a place of eternal doom. There is a problem with the origin of the world, and only those below the 7th level will not be affected. She said that His Majesty Tianju King is right, our era has been powerless, and we must leave hope to those who come after us. The latecomer. Where is the latecomer? I asked, but Xia didn't say much. She died the next day, and before I had time to ask Feng Eri if he had made a breakthrough outside. Today, His Majesty King Tianju asked everyone to stay in the royal court, and the rebel army was about to attack completely. His Majesty apologized to us, saying that we are the people of the Dagon Shenchao, and he is only a member of His Majesty the Shenchao. It's just an heir, but the dynasty of the gods has been overthrown, and all the glory will be stored in memory. His Majesty the Tianju King wants to use his life to activate the barrier of time stasis, to preserve the remaining magical civilization inheritance in the royal court, and people who are unwilling to share the time with His Majesty leave the royal court one after another. I didn't leave. If there is a latecomer, I hope you can bury my diary in the eastern city of Wangding, find Xia's tomb, and bury my diary next to her as a corpse. Sighed. The diary ends here. Lu Ning held the diary, without words for a long time. He was in a trance, his thoughts were disordered, and he didn't even notice that Xiao Xiao and others had entered the hall of the library. Lu Ning, I found it. Just now, the seniors of the guild sent news that there is a destiny platform in the central square of Wangding, which involves a sequence of magic called Armor of Destiny. Now the destiny platform is occupied by Zhang Tianxi, and the 6th level from the foreign race is challenging him. Seeing Lu Ning, Xiao Xiao immediately yelled at him. In addition to this, at least 3 other sequence magics with obvious inheritance information have been discovered. This Tianzhu royal court is a treasure house of inheritance. Lu Ning. Seeing that Lu Ning didn't respond, Xiao Xiao couldn't help but pause. Take away all the magic books here first. After a while, Lu Ning collected all the soot on the table and then spoke. Certainly, the library is occupied by him, so there is no need to share it equally with Tianan Guild. The members of Tianan Guild did not dare to speak nonsense at this time. Just watching Lu Ning collect all the tens of thousands of magic books in the entire magic library. Let's go. After finishing these, Lu Ning said something to Xiao Xiao. Ah, where are you going? Xiao Xiao was taken aback for a moment. Where else can I go? Of course to the so-called Destiny Terrace. Lu Ning glanced at Xiao Xiao's pretty face. Now that he knew that the Armor of Destiny was one of the 10 ancient methods, how could Lu Ning give up? However, this Armor of Destiny is a magical equipment that carries forbidden magic. It has a certain degree of self-awareness and will only choose the real man of destiny. Lu Ning wants to go and have a look. He Lu Ning, is he called the man of destiny? Walk out of the Dongcheng Magic Library yard. Lu Ning, since the destiny platform is occupied by Zhang Tianxi, the foreign race will definitely not give up easily. We don't have to go to the muddy water. We should take advantage of this time to search for other places in the royal court. Seeing Lu Ning looking at the central area of the royal court, a guild senior couldn't help but say something. Others chimed in. Yes, that's Zhang Tianxi. No, Zhang Tianxi may not be able to overwhelm the top 6 ranks of the foreign race. Now we are talking about choosing the best. The valuable things in the royal court are not only sequence magic. Sequence magic may create a strong person, but some people in the royal court the ancient magic that has been lost is as important as the scholar's research notes that can improve the overall strength of our Yan Empire's mages. Brother Lu is competing with mages from other forces for an underground secret room. It is said that many valuable scholars' research notes have been found. We should go to help. In the face of such a major event, it is not feasible to personally. Before the last person could speak, seeing Lu Ning looking at him, he immediately swallowed the words that came to his mouth. Some things worthy of research found in the royal court, I will hand them over to the academy. Lu Ning expressed his position. If it is an ancient magic book or a valuable scholar's research notes, these things can't be realized as Lu Ning's strength, so naturally they should be handed over to the academy in exchange for equal benefits. But that was by the way, not to collect these things for the college, but to collect these things and then give them to the college. Lu Ning will not make a mistake in the order. Now, he has an extremely strong interest in the Armor of Destiny, and vaguely knows that it is the Armor of Destiny that guides him in the dark. So other things aside, unless someone he knows is in danger, he will take the time to rescue him, otherwise there is no need to talk about it. Lu Ning, I'll follow you. Seeing Lu Ning take out the magic flying boat, Xiao Xiao couldn't help shouting. Come up. Lu Ning swept Xiao Xiao into the flying boat. Then the two of them took the flying boat and turned into a long rainbow, and disappeared in front of them in an instant. Xiao Xingyu and the others glanced at each other. He didn't point fingers at Lu Ning behind his back. Because they will think from a different angle, if they are the same arrogant and evildoer as Lu Ning, then they will definitely be crazier than the other party, and it is their turn to teach me how to do things. On the way to the center of the royal court, fighting broke out in various locations below. Although it wasn't as tragic as the Great Chaos, it was still an exaggerated scene with most of the mages on both sides confronting each other. No matter in Blue Star or in other races, Tier 6 is enough to be called a strongman. However, at this time in the Tianzhu royal court, most of the 6th ranks died like soldiers, falling on the way of pursuing magic. Gradually, a large crowd of people appeared in front of them. It is the Tianmingtai in the central area of Tianzhu Royal Court. Standing on the central square of the Royal Court, the Destiny platform is a ring, surrounded by magic circles, which can prevent the battle on the ring from spreading to the surroundings. Speaking of which, within the barrier of stagnant time, creatures cannot maintain their lives, and will die immediately once the barrier is lifted, but inanimate things will not be affected in any way. At this time, a battle broke out in the arena. The arrival of Lu Ning failed to stir up any splashes, and at the same time, other mages rushed towards this side one after another. The arena was already covered with blood, and there were a few corpses of alien races. Lu Ning and Xiao Xiao quietly walked into the crowd watching the battle, and found that most of them were sincerely admiring and sighing. Is this Zhang Tianxi's strength? Judging from the reactions of the alien races, the few alien races who came to power just now are all the best in their respective tribes, not weaker than any of my blue star talents, but they are still not worth mentioning in front of Zhang Tianxi. The top 10 in the Tianzhou competition is the number 1 stronger than the bottom 9 combined. Fart. How is it possible? I didn't expect that there is a sequential magic chosen to be inherited in this way. The armor of destiny sounds like an armor type of equipment. This seems to have become a battle between Zhang Tianxi and the alien Tianzhou. In contrast, because we know Zhang Tianxi's strength, Qian Empire doesn't talk about it. No one from Yan Empire and Huang Empire wants to challenge us. The last time they met was a year ago. 1 year later, not to mention some people think that they have surpassed Zhang Tianxi, but why don't they even dare to challenge? You don't understand this. Maybe in the eyes of Tianzhou, Zhang Tianxi will know that he is not an opponent as soon as he makes a move. Besides, this Zhang Tianxi's move is deadly, and there is no rule here that Tianzhou contest cannot kill anyone. Going on stage is a gamble of life. Hey, the alien race seems to have started to get angry. There are endless discussions in my ears. Lu Ning's gaze was on the stage. At this moment, Zhang Tianxi is fighting against a 6th-order demihuman. The subhuman is tall, has 4 arms, and has thick hair on the body. It is a 4-armed tribe. At the same time, Lu Ning fixed his eyes on a stone tablet directly in front of the Tianming platform. He put on black glasses and saw the text introduction on them. It is said that no weapons, props and secret medicines to temporarily increase strength are allowed on the Destiny platform. Other than that, there are no restrictions. The rest of the content is saying, suppress the arena, win the sky area. It means that if you conquer everyone, you may be recognized as the master of the armor of destiny. Yes, it is possible. If the armor of destiny detests the weak strength of the strongest, it will still not appear. After all, it is a super magic equipment with self-awareness. Quadruple magic Zenith Sun Wheel. At this moment, Tianzhou of the 4-armed clan on the stage was cornered, and roared loudly. At this moment, the 4 arms of the 4-armed human race made a gesture of supporting the sky. Then he saw the magic power surging above his head. The quadruple magic array was shining brightly, and the magic power was condensing into a hot small scorching sun. Tang. The surrounding temperature rose suddenly, and the temperature of the scorching sun that day was too terrifying. It gave a sense of sight that one person was baking the world, distorting the space. Lu Ning then looked at Zhang Tianxi. On the left and right sides of his body, a blood-colored magic wave surged, and the magic wave kept rolling, protecting Zhang Tianxi in it like a spirituality. This is Zhang Tianxi's blood magic. Like the Blood Emperor of the Qian Empire, he is extremely good at blood magic, and there are even rumors that his blood magic is directly passed down from the Blood Emperor. There is also a knowledge that is not too hot. Zhang Tianxi is also a practitioner of Dharma and body. He does not have a unique physical talent in body training, but his own magic talent, the second gift from heaven, is in the body training. Other people's body training benefits are a little bit, and he will double it directly. This makes his physical strength even stronger than some body refining mages with physical talents. Of course, he was born in a noble family, and one of the reasons is that he has never lacked the rare resources needed for body training since he was a child. The Tianzhou of the 4-armed human race looked extremely angry at the moment. Because this move of his needs time to build up power, most opponents would never give him time to build up momentum, but Zhang Tianxi on the opposite side just watched him like this, wait until he accumulates the power of the move to the strongest. The pride, anger, value of the four-armed human race's pride. Was directly filled by Zhang Tianxi's proud attitude. Die to me. He grabbed the scorching sun with a diameter of tens of meters with one arm, and threw it towards Zhang Tianxi. Summon magic Bay Shield Mountain. Seeing this, Zhang Tianxi pressed one hand on the ground, and a magic circle spread out from the arena afterwards. A mountain with a length of 100 meters and composed entirely of shields rose to prosperity. No, it's 2 seats. Under his heaven-defying magic talent, although any magic cast does not superimpose the power, it has double the effect. The 2 Baden mountains stood in front of the scorching sun to meet the turbulent impact brought by the latter's explosion. Ah, it's so dazzling. Many people in the audience subconsciously covered their eyes at this time. The sun exploded without a sound, but burst out an extremely glaring blazing light. At this moment, the whole world seemed to have turned into a vast expanse of white, and nothing could be seen clearly. What followed was violent atmospheric vibrations. Even through the protective magic circle on the ring, everyone could still feel the terrifying power of the four-armed Tianzhao's move. But it didn't break. Most of the 2 Baden mountains were blown to pieces, revealing the godsend behind them. The latter did not move an inch, and the blood-colored waves on the left and right sides made its defenses solid, and it was not affected in the slightest. Wow! At this moment, Zhang Tianxi's 2 bloody waves suddenly spread across the ring, forming a bloody river close to the ground. The Tianzhao of the four-armed tribe had just used his strongest move, and now he was unable to do it, so he could only temporarily add a 6th-level defensive magic to himself. But this kind of pure magic defense is useless in front of Zhang Tianxi. In the blood flow on the arena, a human-shaped blood shadow suddenly gushed out, and the moment the blood shadow just appeared, it flashed suddenly, turning into a bloody light and passing the four-armed clan Tianzhao. Boom boom boom. The sound of the beating heart was extremely clear in the ears of the audience in the silent audience. They clearly saw a huge blood hole in the heart of Tianzhao of the four-armed clan, but the heart inside disappeared and was swept away by the blood shadow. The magic defense of Tianzhao of the four-armed family, as if plastic met a hot iron block, was melted to create a hole, and it did not have any defensive effect at all. The 5th. Same moves. I've watched the same move 5 times, but I still can't see the slightest depth. The alien Tianzhao of the four-armed race should not be the strongest among the alien races. Judging from their reactions, it should be the demon race. When Master Blue Star talked about alien races, most of them were cruel, tyrannical, and barbarians who were not afraid of death. But it seems that there is a big cognitive bias only now. Aliens are also afraid of death. After Zhang Tianxi killed Tianzhao of the four-armed race, there was no response from the foreign race for a long time. They knew that there would be no one from Master Lengxing's side to challenge Zhang Tianxi. Because Zhang Tianxi had proved his strength on the stage of the Blue Star Tianzhao competition as early as a year ago, and completely defeated the Tianzhao of the same generation with his absolutely crushing strength. This means that the armor of destiny was either given by Zhang Tian, or it belonged to their alien race. Chi. On the other side of the alien race, someone let out a low growl. Cheer is the Tianzhao of the demon race. Although there is no Tianzhao competition among the foreign races, there are often exchanges between the younger generation. Chie is currently the strongest among the foreign races. Unfathomable. What he showed was his strength under normal circumstances. The Destiny platform doesn't have a mechanism for admitting defeat, it just depends on whether the other party is willing to kill you. If I come to the stage. Chie looked silent, did not respond to the calls of other alien races, and remained silent. His reaction says it all. Anyone else? Zhang Tianxi, who was on the stage, spread his arms out at this moment, inviting everyone to come on stage with this gesture. No response. Armor of Destiny, you are mine now. Zhang Tianxi waited for a while, and when he saw that no one was on stage, he raised his head and shouted into the empty sky. You guided me here, I have proved that I am qualified to be your master, I am the destiny of this era. Zhang Tianxi still shouted, regardless of the ugly faces of some people in the audience. If he has no strength, his posture is naturally arrogant and ridiculous, and he doesn't know what it means. But on the basis of strength, this kind of posture is extremely high-spirited, and detached self-confidence. Listening to the other party's words, Lu Ning's eyes were touched. This Zhang Tianxi also sensed the hidden guidance. It seems that the strength he showed just now is just his normal strength. It's not only the difference between superiority and inferiority, but also life and death. Lu Ning suddenly chuckled. Then, he walked towards the stage without any fear. Don't want. Xiao Xiao, who had been watching Lu Ning's expression from the side, couldn't realize anything, but grabbed Lu Ning's hand suddenly, with eager worry in his eyes. It's not that she doesn't have confidence in Lu Ning's strength. She simply can't touch that level, and can't effectively judge the strength between Lu Ning and Zhang Tianxi. Lu Ning looked back at Xiao Xiao, then patted the back of her hand, and gently took it away. Someone's gone up. Suddenly someone under the stage exclaimed. Lu Ning jumped and landed firmly on the destiny platform. The courage is good, but I don't know if the strength matches it. Seeing the person coming, Zhang Tianxi narrowed his eyes slightly, and it turned out that the other party's challenge letter was not a posturing. Ah, it's the guy who sneaked up on us before. Under the stage, Zhang Yu pointed at Lu Ning with anger in his eyes. Beside him, Lu Hongshe and Wen Guxin, the two arrogant monsters, also showed astonished expressions. Zhang Tianxi has already told everyone, to challenge on stage, losing is tantamount to death. But the other party still chose to go on stage. Is this a stubborn struggle of youth, or is it really powerful? Give you some time to recover the consumed magic power. Lu Ning said something to Zhang Tianxi. His heart also began to surge. Now that he has come to power, there is no need to mention the previous petty entanglement, it is a battle of life and death anyway. Need not. However, Zhang Tianxi's words made the corners of Lu Ning's mouth twitch slightly. He originally wanted to have a sense of ceremony. It turned out that Zhang Tianxi was even more arrogant than he had imagined. Nimas, kill a few alien teenage Carla mimes and set it up. Who is this man? The face of Lu Ning who took the stage was extremely unfamiliar to most people. As for daring to go on stage, although the audience in the audience were surprised and stunned, it was not unacceptable. After all, there are many people in this world who are not afraid of death. That is to say, the mages of the Yan Empire have an impression of Lu Ning. After all, Lu Ning has been searched on the internet of the Yan Empire before. His name is Lu Ning. He is a freshman of Yandi Tianan Academy this year. He is an 18-year-old 6th level student. At this time last year, Zhang Tianxi was still a 5th level student. Are you stupid? Zhang Tianxi didn't rush to break through the realm because of the Tianzhao competition last year. After the Tianzhao competition, he immediately stepped into the 6th level. I don't think Lu Ning can compare with Zhang Tianxi. Quote, who the hell is stupid? This Lu Ning doesn't look like a stunned young man. He has the confidence to dare to go on stage. Since Zhang Tianxi and other evil characters can appear, why can't there be another Z? There's no point in arguing here, just look at the stage, and there should be a result soon. Not only among Tianzhao figures, but also among the general group of 6th order mages, Lu Ning can only be regarded as a little famous person at best, and cannot be compared with Zhang Tianxi. He did go up. In the corner of the stage, Gong Shoujun has recovered from the previous setbacks. Seeing Lu Ning taking the stage to challenge Zhang Tianxi, he couldn't help but look at him with burning eyes. Deep in his eyes, there was a strong anticipation. From Gong Shoujun's point of view, Lu Ning, like Zhang Tianxi, is both an evildoer among Tianzhao, with unfathomable strength. Chie, what do you mean? Humans are so provocative, why don't you dare to go on stage? On the side of the foreign race, they didn't pay attention to Lu Ning, but asked about the evil of the demon race. Chie smacked his mouth, and replied absently, what's the hurry, this Zhang Tianxi must have hidden tricks, and if I come on stage after the others force out his whole cards, I will only hold even bigger. You'd better think so, otherwise, you won't even have the guts to challenge. Send it back, and you know what you'll be treated for. Cowardly behavior, the clan will never tolerate it. A member of the 6th Order clan who is also a member of the Demon clan did not buy Chi's explanation. The demon race is inherently aggressive and bloodthirsty. They will also despise the weak and pursue the supremacy of the strong, but what is even more intolerable is cowardice and cowardice. In their view, no matter how strong or weak the males of the demon race should be, they should have a fearless heart. After that human dies, I will take the stage. The sequence magic inheritance is in front of me. I can't just sit back and watch humans take it away. When Kai Yi heard this, his eyes glowed red, and then he made up his mind. Thinking of this, Chie began to calculate his moves and hole cards, and began to rehearse some possible battle scenes in his mind that he would fight Zhang Tianxi in the future. Here we go. At this moment, the fellow next to him exclaimed. Chie looked up. Seeing that Lu Ning clenched his right fist, he punched Zhang Tianxi in front of him in vain. Boom! He punched out, hitting the atmosphere directly, but the majestic force directly acted on it, compressing the atmosphere, and blasted out an air punch with pure physical strength. The sound of the sonic boom was deafening, and the entire arena was swept by a gust of wind. Quote! Chi's eyes suddenly shrank. This power! He was horrified. The demon clan is born with a strong physique and the power of blood in their bodies. Basically, everyone is a body-refining mage, but they are different in strength. Therefore, they are naturally familiar with body-refining mages. With Lu Ning's understated punch just now, Kai decided that he couldn't do it. This new human mage is also an extremely powerful figure among human beings, not the fearless one he thought he would die. The air fist slammed violently, and Zhang Tianxi's eyes showed a little surprise at Lu Ning's strong physique, but the blood-colored magic waves beside him were like slaves automatically forming a round blood-colored shield to block the front. Boom! The bloody shield immediately exploded with ripples, and a wide hole emerged. Through the entrance of the cave, Zhang Tianxi saw the afterimage of Lu Ning's figure appearing like a frame stuck on the screen. Left, he immediately realized that Lu Ning had already rushed over. Blood gauntlets. Zhang Tianxi still didn't move, but turned around halfway, and swung his right fist straight away. At the same time as he swung his fist, the blood-colored magic waves wrapped around his right arm like dense red threads, weaving a gauntlet covering his right arm. Zhang Tianxi is equally confident in his physical strength. He knew that Lu Ning was close, but he was still unafraid, and chose to confront Lu Ning head-on in the most direct way. Thunder Dragon's collapsing fist. How can Lu Ning be polite? A large piece of thunder is pouring down on his right fist, the light of thunder is shining and dazzling. This is the first confrontation between the two. Everyone watched the scene that was about to happen with concentrated eyes, as if they forgot to breathe. Boom! Caw caw caw! Under the watchful eyes of everyone in the audience, the fists of the two collided together, and the thunder light and the blood light exploded instantly, forming a strange scene of two sides with a clear distinction. Well, immediately afterwards, Zhang Tianxi heard a muffled snort, stepped back a few steps, and the scarlet armor on his right arm fell off inch by inch, shattered, and the arm bone of his right arm was also broken into several pieces, drooping down. But his blood magic is indeed strange, it didn't just disappear, but turned into those two bloody magic waves again. Laugh. Zhang Tianxi clearly heard Lu Ning's sneer. He took a deep breath, his eyes suddenly became terrifyingly quiet. Under the Tianxi's second part, talent, Zhang Tianxi's pure physical attack is naturally a double combo, and unlike magic attacks, the power of punches can be increased by hitting the same point continuously. In other words, he, Zhang Tianxi, is no match for a punch from the other party. You don't look great just because you killed a few foreign trash. Lu Ning raised his eyebrows at Zhang Tianxi, with an equally arrogant attitude. What, alien little trash? This human genius dares to insult us as a whole alien race. Okay, very good. Chie, if this human genius defeats Zhang Tianxi, you must challenge him on stage. Make him pay the price. The foreign race reacted strongly because of Lu Ning's words, especially the demon race, who were constantly angry. And Chie pressed his heart subconsciously, only feeling a sudden cardiac arrest. It hurts. It hurts. Is this him some bad teammate? Don't they understand? They are not sure that they can beat Zhang Tianxi, and he will go for that possibility. But this newcomer made Zhang Tianxi feel bad at the very beginning. If he easily defeated Zhang Tianxi, it would be fine to go up to die by himself, but the death of the strongest would only make the little alien waste that he called a reality. Well, it's the strongest if you don't make a move. Chie made up his mind that even if he was cast aside as a coward by his tribe, he would not challenge him on stage. How is it possible? The big brother will actually gain the upper hand. Under the stage, Zhang Yu stared at the scene on stage with wide eyes in disbelief. Don't worry, the strongest gift from heaven is not physical strength. In contrast, Lu Hongxue was much calmer. But after finishing speaking, the eyes of this proud woman of the empire could not be taken away from Lu Ning for a moment. More and more people rushed to the Destiny platform in the central square, and the number of onlookers kept increasing. Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao heard the voice of her big brother, looked back, and saw that he and some other members of the Tianan Guild had also rushed over. Lu Ning is fighting Zhang Tianxi in the ring. Xiao Xingyu then looked at the stage and blurted out, "My God, Lu Ning still has the upper hand. Zhang Tianxi's right arm is useless. Lu Ning, so strong." The members of the Tianan Guild who came together were stunned and rubbed their eyes, unable to believe the facts in front of them. Xiao Xiao didn't answer, and turned to look at the stage again. Look at Zhang Tianxi again. His broken right arm seemed to have received some kind of treatment, and it was as good as ever in an instant. Rustle. At this time, the shackles of the blood prison. The two blood-colored demonic waves turned into a river of blood again and covered the arena. Immediately, countless blood-colored chains gushed out from the river of blood, bound towards Lu Ning. Zhang Tianxi's state of mind did not fluctuate much at this time. On the contrary, he was very excited, and gradually became a little surging. From his birth, relying on his innate magical talent and extraordinary comprehension, he has shown talents far beyond others since he was a child. The praise of elders, the admiration of peers, the crowd of strangers, etc., almost accompany him to grow up. But as he grows up, he gradually finds that he is lonely, and no one in his generation is his equal enemy. He has been looking forward to having someone of his generation who can make him enjoy the last battle. Now, there it is. Although Lu Ning is not of the same generation, he is of the same rank. The bloody chains clung to Lu Ning's whole body at an extraordinary speed, binding him tightly from top to bottom. 5-star prison blood devour. The moment Lu Ning was restrained, the river of blood on the ring suddenly turned into two bloody mouths, one in front of the other facing Lu Ning's place, and they rushed towards Lu Ning. The higher Zhang Tianxi's rank was, the more terrifying the performance of his second magical talent was. Even Lu Ning can only use his ult once, but Zhang Tianxi can use his ult twice in a row. If he is at the 8th level, if he is at the 9th level, this kind of talent will completely affect the balance of combat power between the same level. 5 levels of magic. Zhang Tianxi is starting to get real. The eyes of the audience in the audience became more and more intense. Although not as good as these evildoers, being able to watch their battles up close is also a first-class blessing in life. Bang! Boom! The restrained Lu Ning's whole body seemed to be exploding, and his whole body was like an endless source of thunder and lightning. Countless lightning arcs splashed out from his body, and the powerful thunder and lightning burst through the shackles of the blood prison in an instant. Then, each of the left and right punched out with a punch. Bang! Bang! The thunderous power of his fists was unmatched, and it blasted those two bloody mouths to pieces. Then Lu Ning jumped up and was suspended in midair. Thunder Dragon Fang Tianji. The thunder around him swelled again, and he saw countless lightning arcs intertwined, condensing one golden lightning halberd after another. Lu Ning grabbed a Thunder Dragon Fangtian halberd and threw it downward. He doesn't seem to care about precision, because he wasn't allowed to throw once at all. Thunder Dragon Fang Tianji is constantly condensing, which is due to the super high amount of magic power in Lu Ning's body, as well as Wheel of Wishes and 100 Eyes, the talent of General Thunder and Lightning. This talent allows Lu Ning to use the power of elements between heaven and earth below the 7th level. No, prepare to say, absorb. This makes Lu Ning, who already has an extremely exaggerated total amount of magic power, not have to worry about consumption at all for a while. Unless the limit explodes, the recovery speed can definitely keep up. Bang 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 bang. As Lu Ning throws thunder again and again. Longfang Tianji, the arena below was bombarded in a saturated manner from left to right. One after another shocking thunder and lightning explosions exploded in response to the situation, and they continued in an endless stream, which did not disappear for a long time. Everyone in the audience has long been dumbfounded. So far, Lu Ning has shown nothing more than super strong physique and powerful thunder magic. But a single thunder spell did not really make the arrogances in the audience feel invincible, it was just purely strong and able to stop it. However, this kind of continuous and extremely high-frequency thunder magic bombardment is simply beyond everyone's imagination. In their eyes, There was no longer Zhang Tianxi's figure on the ring, instead, one after another, small thunder and lightning mushroom clouds bloomed brightly. Boom 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 boom. Lu Ning was still throwing, as if the magic power in his body was never exhausted. What kind of monster is this? Is his magical power unlimited? Does he have a corresponding magical talent? It's outrageous. With the continuous bombing of such powerful magic, no matter how strong Zhang Tianxi's defense is, he will be tortured to death. Is there such a way to fight back? Am I him? Just beep. Lu Ning. This Tianan College freshman named Lu Ning, where did he come from? It's impossible for such a character to suddenly emerge. He should have been famous since he was a child. Lu Ning's horrifying fighting style shocked the audience's eyes to the extreme. How did this happen? Is the big brother going to lose? Zhang Yu desperately wanted to look for Big Brother on the stage, but there was no way to find him in the ring flooded by lightning. Don't worry, Lu Hongshe comforted the uneasy Zhang Yu. When Guxin looked at Lu Ning, who was constantly throwing lightning halberds above the ring with deep thought, thinking about how he should deal with this unreasonable move. After about a few minutes, Lu Ning finally stopped. This arena of destiny is really strange. Under the repeated bombardment by Lu Ning, the ground of the arena is still intact, but the surrounding defensive magic circle is shaking non-stop. He landed steadily, and then looked forward calmly. With the momentum of the explosion dissipating, Zhang Tianxi's figure appeared in front of everyone. His clothes were torn all over, his body was in a mess, and the bloody jiayi all over his body was also devastated. Zhang Tianxi's state was a little sluggish, but as the bloody magic wave under his feet returned to his body, his face suddenly became rosy again, and his state rose rapidly. It's all right. Let's just say that Lu Ning's attacking method just now made everyone in the audience feel numb. So this time it's Ma +1. This Zhang Tianxi doesn't have any weaknesses. Someone voiced their suspicions. Zhang Tianxi performed extremely perfectly no matter in defense, attack, treatment or even status recovery. Okay, very good. Keep going like this. It's been a long time since my heart started to boil like it is now. Don't let me down. Lu Ning. Zhang Tianxi looked at Lu Ning with burning eyes, yelled, and laughed heartily. Are you already in shape? Lu Ning looked surprised. I'm still warming up. After hearing this, Zhang Tianxi's laughter stopped abruptly. In a word, let the strongest arrogance of the generation call me angrily. Chapter 71. Blood on the body. Zhang Tianxi, who was provoked by Lu Ning, responded directly with actions. He pressed his hands toward the ground violently, and the two blood-colored magic circles unscrewed and expanded on the ground. From the blood-colored magic circle, two streams of thick blood continuously surged towards Zhang Tianxi's body, causing Zhang Tianxi's aura to surge rapidly in an instant. Lu Ning, who is an expert in this field, doesn't know yet. Just now, this generation's strongest Tianzhao used a boost effect similar to status magic. It is not uncommon for mages to cast status magic to buff themselves, but mages who specialize in auxiliary magic will do better. However, Zhang Tianxi, relying on his heaven-defying magic talent, caused such buffs to be added twice in a row. Think carefully. In fact, even if Zhang Tianxi didn't have the magical talent of the second gift from heaven, his own talent is still terrifying. The magic he has mastered is extremely comprehensive, with almost no shortcomings. Now is the real start. Zhang Tianxi raised his head abruptly, eyes full of crimson. The blood magic he cast was not evil, which caused the evil god Thunder to have no relative restraint effect. Of course, the power of the evil god Thunder itself is still there. This kind of ability moves with extremely high levels of power that came out of Shushan novels. Their growth is worth looking forward to. Sixfold magic, Hell Dog. Zhang Tianxi cast magic again, this time, directly rising to the level of the 6th level of magic. And according to his gift of double happiness, two giant blood-colored magic circles unfolded on Zhang Tianxi's left and right sides, and then a giant blood-red vicious dog walked out of the magic circles. The vicious dog was as large as tens of meters in size, and its 4 feet were surrounded by waves of blood, as if its feet were stepping on bloody flames. Their fangs are bared and they are full of viciousness. The figure of Lu Ning is reflected in the pair of red eyes at this moment. This multiple magic. Lu Ning's eyes were startled. He vaguely felt that the multiple spells were somewhat different from the ones he had used before. In just a moment, Lu Ning realized this. Before stepping into the 7th level, even if the spiritual imprint is imprinted in the magic power in one's body in advance, that kind of connection is not enough. At this stage, most of the multiple spells cast are the same spell cast multiple times at the same time, relying on these methods to greatly enhance the power of a single spell. When Bai Shui demonstrated to Lu Ning before, her triple magic was to cast 3 different magics at the same time and combine them to form a new magic, which not only increased the power, but also increased the diversity, to make the new magic the magic itself is more comprehensive. For example, if the triple magic cast by Gong Shoujun is gravity space, and repulsion space, at the same time, then his chaotic force field, power and difficulty will increase by multiple times at once. Steps. Gong Shoujun couldn't do this. He just cast the 3 magic effects continuously in the same area, forming a relatively simple chaotic force field. Among the 6 levels of magic that Zhang Tianxi is using now, there are 2 different kinds of magic. Roar. It took only a second for the mind to turn, and the attack of the Hell Dog came. Lu Ning clenched his fists tightly and punched each other. When the 2 hellhounds were attacking him, he punched them one by one, completely blasting them into a pool of blood, which cascaded down from the sky. Zhang Tianxi's 6-fold magic was broken so easily. The power of Lu Ning's lightning fist is so terrifying. I just came here, what's going on? Zhang Tianxi's moves were blown away by the 2 of them. It's too scary. Is Lu Ning's strength really a 6th order level? The audience in the audience clicked their tongues one after another. Lu Ning's fighting style full of violent aesthetics is indeed very enjoyable and shocking. However, the good times did not last long. The bloody water sprayed by the hellhound that was blown up quickly condensed into a bloody bat at this moment. In the blink of an eye, the large number of blood bats completely pervaded the entire arena, forming a scene of mad bat chaos. Seeing the blood bats rushing towards him, Lu Ning's eyes froze suddenly, and his arms spread out. Brontosaurus wing strike storm. He turned on the spot like a turbulent wave, directly driving the atmosphere of the entire arena. Thunder and lightning surged, and the strong wind howled and tore apart. The combination of the 2 formed a lightning storm that swept across the entire arena in an instant. Xiao Xiao in the audience looked at her beautiful eyes burning hot. She is no stranger to this move, and she is well aware of its power. In the face of the wing strike storm, no matter how many blood bats there are, it is useless. But the reason why magic is that it often has unexpected abilities. Lu Ning's lightning storm swept across and raged, smashing the blood bat into bloody water again, but the bloody water ignored the lightning protection body armor on his body. The blood attached to the surface of the skin turned into a blood bat again, frantically absorbing the magic power in Lu Ning's body. What a weird trick. Lu Ning was surprised. If it was an ordinary mage, he would be sucked dry in an instant. But for him, Lu Ning, he can even use the talent Wheel of 100 Eyes of Wishes to actively absorb the power of the thunder element between heaven and earth to feed these blood bats without any influence. Blood spear. At the same time, Zhang Tianxi's body didn't do anything and looked at him doing nothing. He held his right hand in the air, and a bloody spear came out, and threw it towards Lu Ning, who was in a hurry. At this time, Lu Ning has already finished the wing blow storm move. With a casual slap, he shattered the bloody spear. But after the spear shattered into blood, it turned into the appearance of the hellhound. At the same time, the number of blood bats on Lu Ning's body dropped by more than half. This kind of change in the form of moves, even as a life and death opponent, is enough to shock Lu Ning into heaven. For a while, he couldn't figure out whether this was the ability of the blood magic itself, or it was simply a unique way of combining magic developed by Zhang Tianxi. Not good. It was already too late for Lu Ning at this moment, and the left half of his body was bitten by the hell dog's big mouth. Boom, boom. Lu Ning gathered his right fist, the tip of the fist thundered violently, and he blasted away at the hell dog. But the effect of this blow was not ideal. The hellhound's body melted into blood again, and only one head remained, biting half of Lu Ning's body tightly. No matter how Lu Ning attacks, this thing seems to be immune to his own attack suddenly and can ignore it. 6th level magic, Oath of Blood. At this time, Lu Ning noticed that there was an extra bloody magic circle on Zhang Tianxi's side, and then he released another magic circle. This magic forcibly binds the hell dog and Lu Ning together, because the blood bat has absorbed the magic power and part of the blood in Lu Ning's body before, satisfying the preconditions for casting the Oath of Blood. After forming the Oath of Blood, Lu Ning couldn't really cause damage to the Hellhound, just like his teammates in the game are immune to injury. Magic. It's really interesting. Lu Ning suddenly laughed out loud. In fact, he was a little bored when he was fighting Zhang Tianxi, because he was always fighting with his normal combat power. The other party has been unable to force myself to go further, so it is boring. But now, Lu Ning has completely put away his boring emotions, and in the true sense, he wants to devote himself to this life and death struggle. Unsurprisingly, on the right half of Lu Ning's body, a giant bloody dog's head also appeared, biting Lu Ning's right half of his body. 2 hell dogs bit Lu Ning. One is to continuously absorb part of the blood and magic power in his body. Second, it has the effect of suppressing and restraining disturbance. If it were any one of them, if he got this trick, his subsequent magic spells would be greatly disturbed, and he would be unable to cast it indefinitely. 6 levels of magic, the source of blood. Before Zhang Tianxi's attack stopped, a large amount of blood suddenly gushed out from his body, and the blood gathered together and condensed into a blood cell directly in front of him. The blood in his body seems to be endless. This caused more and more blood to flow into the blood cells, causing the blood cells to explode in size. Gradually, there is a world with a diameter of 50 meters. Almost occupied half of the arena. Everyone in the audience looked at the giant blood cell. Even through the defensive magic circle, they could feel the terrifying coercion from it. Coming. Lu Hongshe let out a soft cry. She seemed to be very familiar with Zhang Tianxi's moves. Knowing that this trick came out, it meant that Zhang Tianxi was going all out. HMPH. It turned out to be a false alarm. Let me just say, how could Big Brother lose to that kind of guy? But that guy is a little difficult to deal with. Zhang Yu's complexion improved a little, and her hanging heart gradually let go. The other side, Xiao Xiao and the people from the Tianan Guild became nervous. Everyone can see, although neither Lu Ning nor Zhang Tianxi expressed their killing intent, in the end only one of them was able to stand alive in the ring. Whether it is the loss of Zhang Tianxi or Lu Ning, it is a more painful thing for Blue Star humans as a whole. This is not. The face of the foreign race is about to turn up. Although it seems that Zhang Tianxi is going to win, it's a good thing that another Tianzhou evildoer who may threaten the safety of my alien race fell under their internal friction. That's right, Zhang Tianxi's whole card was also forced out, which is different from the arrogance he showed. The magic he is good at is very weird and insidious. It's Lu Ning, whose moves are open and closed, Thunderbolt and Thunder, which makes people feel comfortable. The aliens were talking. It seems that Lu Ning's defeat has been decided. Thunderbolt. While the blood cell was still expanding in size, Lu Ning suddenly gave a loud shout. The clothes on his upper body turned into fly ash in an instant, revealing his muscular body. After becoming the King of Thunder, Lu Ning's body size increased to more than 2 meters, and 5 thunder drums condensed behind him, automatically attacking Yang Tianxi without thunder. It's just that this kind of automatic attack after transformation is okay to use to clear the soldiers, and it doesn't pose any threat to Zhang Tianxi. Dragon Slayer Profound Truth Lei Juishan. After the transformation, the tenfold gain state was added to the body, and Lu Ning's palms were suddenly closed, and the thunder of the whole body gathered in the palms. Dragon Slayer Profound Truth. This is the first time that Lu Ning has actually fought the dragon slaying mysteries. What he got from signing in was Thunder Dragon Slayer magic, not the full set of Laxus. Laxus does not know the ordinary lightning magic, and the dragon slaying magic move he used was borrowed from Laxus. But the previous, Thunder Dragon's Wing Strike Storm, did not come from Laxus. It was a dragon slaying magic move created by Lu Ning himself based on his own characteristics. Dragon Slayer mysteries will not only exist in one form of moves. It's just that Lu Ning only created this trick so far. Roar. The moment he clasped his palms together, the world-shattering dragon chant resounded completely in the arena. Immediately afterwards, a mighty golden brontosaurus was released from Lu Ning's palms. The whole body of the golden thunder dragon was made of thunder and lightning, and its size swelled even more against the wind. With just half a breath of effort, it was as huge as 100 meters. This is due to the tenfold increase in the total amount of magic power of Lu Ning in the Thunderbolt state. It was only then that he unleashed the 100-meter thunder dragon that had gathered countless thunderbolts. Burst! Zhang Tianxi's stern voice resounded, and the moment he saw Thunder Dragon, he detonated the giant blood cell. The same is true for Lu Ning's Lei Juishan. Thunder Dragon couldn't break through the explosion impact of the blood cell, so it exploded loudly. The two indescribable explosions collided completely. The sky above the arena instantly became distinct. Half of it was golden thunder raging, and the other half was crimson waves of blood. Under the gaze of everyone in the audience, the half of the arena where the blood wave was surging began to tilt. The speed of the tilt became faster and faster, and then it was completely dispersed by the golden thunder. It's Lu Ning's moves that are stronger, someone exclaimed from the audience. Are these two people really at the 6th level? I feel that the power of their moves is already at the 7th level. It's horrible, it's horrible. Maid, if I have this level of strength. I'm too naive to write how these characters compete for sequence magic. Around the Tianmingtai, which had been silent just now, voices gradually sounded. Big brother! Zhang Yu screamed terribly. Lu Hongshe quickly held the girl down, preventing her from losing her mind and rushing into the ring. Not in a hurry. Wen Guxin glanced at Lu Hongshe. Lu Hongshui's expression turned cold. Shut up. Wen Guxin stopped talking, but there was a strange look in his eyes. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. I saw a fiery flame suddenly rising from where Zhang Tianxi was, soaring into the sky. The flame rushed high into the sky, and then spread out, completely covering the entire arena. Fire magic. Zhang Tianxi can also fire magic. I've never heard of it. Zhang Tianxi still has a whole card. Many blue star talents in the audience exclaimed one by one. In fact, Zhang Tianxi's explosive combat power has far exceeded their expectations. But in the end, they still have cards. What kind of monster is this? Sequence magic. It's sequence magic. Zhang Tianxi has inherited sequence magic. That's the sequence magic of the Qian Empire, the fusion treasure wheel. Fusion treasure wheel. This can directly fuse two completely different magics. It's fusion. It's not combination. There were screams from the audience. A round treasure wheel appeared on the top of Zhang Tianxi's head, shining in all directions. Sequence magic. Zhang Tianxi has sequence magic, which is his biggest hole card, and now he is forced out by Lu Ning. This is simply too unbelievable. He is only tier 6, why does he have such a strong hole card? 7th layer of magic blood flame beyond. Zhang Tianxi's slightly weak voice sounded, and his figure appeared from the thunder. Half of his body was dry and blackened. Hum, hum. 2 magic circles appeared together, and then merged into the round treasure wheel. The round treasure wheel spread out and turned into a brand new magic circle. The magic circle instantly fell to the ground of the arena. Boo, boom. The whole ground instantly turned into an endless sea of bloody flames. The flames were rolling and boiling like sea waves, as if they were going to blow up everything. Nimas, I'm bored. Seeing this, Lu Ning slammed the edge of his mouth. With a deep roar, he saw gleaming dragon scales gradually appear on his bare skin and cheeks, and his hands and feet turned into dragon claws at this moment. Dragon. After becoming a dragon, his physical strength has been greatly improved, which allows him to let go of everything and use the Wheel of Wishes and 100 Eyes talent to madly absorb the power of the thunder element between heaven and earth. This allowed Lu Ning to exceed 10 times his own threshold once again in the thunderous state. That is 20 times. His total magic power has reached more than 20 million values. Pressing the dragon's claws on the abdomen, Dream Yixin, which spent a full 20 million numerical values of magic power, was condensed and pulled out. Once the knife is out, the sea of blood and flames. For a moment, it seemed to be frozen in time. Time back to the previous minute. In the palace hall that has not yet been opened, a tall and stalwart figure is sitting on the throne of the hall. He is His Majesty the Tianzhu King of the Tianzhu Royal Court. King Tianzhu leaned on the throne, lightly resting his chin with his right hand, and stared blankly at the empty hall ahead. But in his empty eyes, he was reflecting the scene of the duel between the 2 Tianzhou monsters on the Destiny stage. When Zhang Tianxi casts the sequence magic fusion treasure wheel, the memory of the dead suddenly attacked King Tianzhu, causing him to fall into a short memory. The spirit in his eyes revived, and the figure of a peerless young man gradually emerged in his memory and finally became extremely clear. In the picture of memory, the young man's face was full of anger, and he loudly questioned him in the hall why he didn't dare to go out of the world of Tianju enchantment, why he should pin his hopes on the future generations who don't know whether they will exist or not. The boy asked him for sequence magic, saying that he would lead the Tianju people to the real world. 21 wins. Tianju King muttered softly, his tone extremely complicated. Sequential magic fusion treasure wheel is one of the 15 sequential magics that Feng 21 stole from Tianju royal court. I didn't expect to see it again in this way. I don't know how many years have passed. Could it be him? The memories disappeared, and King Tianju watched Zhang Tianxi from the air. It's not that a person cannot inherit multiple sequence magics, it's just that it's difficult to succeed. Zhang Tianxi may not be unable to obtain the recognition of the armor of destiny on the premise of already having a sequence of magic. Rufeng 21, as long as he thinks, in fact, he can inherit some of the 15 sequence magics he stole, but he distributed them all to his followers, including another ancient magic spell among them. 10 methods. Zhang Tianxi is amazing. The title of the strongest Tianzhao in the generation is not empty talk. He has an innate talent for magic that defies the sky, and he has an understanding and talent that surpasses ordinary Tianzhao. It's just, after seeing Feng Eri and other evildoers, Zhang Tianxi's amazing color became somewhat dimmed in the eyes of Tianju King. And a minute later, he saw Lu Ning's shot. The color in Tianju King's eyes became more and more intense, and he stood up. The future generations have become so bright. He muttered something to himself, then sat down again. And this movement seemed to pull something, causing Tianju King's body to gradually turn into flying ash, as if a Thanos next to him secretly snapped his fingers. Before waiting for the result, Tianju King had already slowly closed his eyes. He already knew the result. One knife without thinking. Lu Ning put his hands on the dream and single-mindedly cut it off with a single blow. He slashed down with a knife, and the bloody sea of flames under his feet disappeared instantly like dust swept by a strong wind. Rumble. At the same time, the sky and the earth roared, the atmosphere trembled to the point that the sky would tilt, and the ground of the Destiny stage continued to crack. This hard stage of the Destiny stage was disintegrating inch by inch at this moment. Everyone was so shocked that their expressions were dumbfounded. Their eyes are filled with endless purple thunder sword light, which is extremely brilliant and flawless. The obviously extremely hot lightning and saber light made everyone present feel as if their bone marrow was completely chilled. Zilei's saber flashed past Zhang Tianxi in an instant, and struck the protective vehicle behind him. Hum, boom, boom. The protective magic circle was slashed by Wushang, and the entire magic shield covering the ring began to vibrate violently, followed by slight cracks, and then intensified, and finally, with a sound of pacha, countless crystal light fragments were scattered, like fireworks. Zhang Tianxi slowly raised his right hand, but before he could raise it, he saw his right arm fell to the ground. The scene in front of him began to tilt from top to bottom. Then half of the body slid off the body. This generation's strongest arrogance, his second gift from heaven, magic talent did not give him a second life. Zhang Tianxi's pupils dilated rapidly, and finally fixed on a puzzled expression. Zhang Tianxi died. After his death, a stream of light suddenly burst out of his body. It was the sequence of magic fusion treasure wheel. It was a palm-sized round ornament, but it carried 10th order taboo magic. Such as this kind of sequence magic equipped with props, after the death of the chosen inheritor, he will not stay in place and wait to be passed on, but will immediately flee to the world and find the inheritor by himself. It needs to be restrained forcibly by special means. The combinable treasure wheel has not left. Seeing this, Lu Ning beckoned to him, and the fusion treasure wheel immediately flew into his dragon claws, and then sank into it. The audience is still a silent environment. Everyone was beyond shocked. Even if the brain accepted the picture, their thoughts didn't seem to turn around for a while. Ho ho ho. A low growl sounded, but it was not a demonstration, but an instinctive growl after being severely stimulated. But it was the beast of a beast master in the crowd. It was a snow-white leopard beast. At this time, it kept growling at Lu Ning on the ring, feeling the fear of suppressing blood for its dragon form. Snow leopard, shut up. The beast master just woke up, and quickly patted the frightened snow leopard. However, the latter refused, so he could only be forcibly included in the special beast ring props. The Beast Master secretly glanced at Lu Ning on the platform, and was relieved to see that the latter didn't pay attention to him. Why so quiet? Hey, Your Highness, TNC is not over yet. In the West City, someone discovered the inheritance of sequence magic. There are too many people there, and they have already started to fight together. Without His Royal Highness, it is difficult for us. At this moment, several Qian Empire mages rushed over and shouted at Lu Hongxue and the others. From their point of view, taking Zhang Tianxi's strength to win the Destiny platform is a certainty. But when they looked towards the ring, they were all stunned. On stage, Lu Ning, who was shirtless, looked up at the sky and seemed to be waiting for something, while under him was Zhang Tianxi, whose body was cut in half diagonally. The corpse of the strongest arrogant of the era seemed to be stalking the boy who turned into a dragon invisibly. No, I don't want this kind of thing. Zhang Yu screamed frantically, clutching her head. She knelt on the ground, her tears gushing like springs, her grief to the extreme. Lu Hongxue stared numbly at the front, losing focus. You will die, just because you are too weak. This is what you have been talking about all the time. Why are there so many puzzles on your face at this time? Is it because you don't believe that you will lose? In contrast, the third Tianjiao Wengixin didn't show any sorrow, but it didn't have any sense of joy, as if it was simply witnessing the end of the strongest Tianjiao in the past. Yes, Juri is the strongest Tianjiao. The young man who stepped on your Zhang Tianxi's corpse took away the throne of the strongest arrogance with undisputed strength under the eyes of everyone. When Guxin's eyes once again fell on Lu Ning, all eyes fell on him. Boom! In the sky above Lu Ning's head, the wind and clouds suddenly moved, and the golden light from Raidong shot down from the clouds and shone on Lu Ning. Immediately afterwards, a set of golden battle armor plummeted from the sky and flew towards Lu Ning. Lu Ning opened her arms. Here we come. 10 Absolute Laws. Armor of Destiny. The set of golden battle armor split apart and turned into golden streamers, which were worn on various parts of Lu Ning's body one by one. This moment, under the eyes of so many people, Lu Ning, Destiny added. At the moment when the Destiny armor was added to her body, Lu Ning's own belief was completely detonated. This means that Zhang Tianxi, the strongest arrogance of the previous generation, has completely become his stepping stone. Standing on Zhang Tianxi's corpse, he forged the belief of absolute invincibility at the same level. This belief became extremely strong under the magnification of the armor of destiny. Lu Ning just had some thoughts in his heart, and saw a spiritual imprint completely imprinted on the magic power in his body. It means that from now on, Lu Ning can try to use a variety of lightning moves at the same time to achieve the power increase effect of multiple spells. Are there weapons, too? After receiving the armor of destiny to recognize the master, Lu Ning immediately understood some abilities of the other party. But this armor of destiny seems to be very arrogant. Could it be because of his previous master? That Feng 21. Lu Ning couldn't help thinking this way. The armor of destiny still doesn't seem to appreciate Lu Ning's current strength. Although he has taken the initiative to recognize the master, he has not informed the other party of his full capabilities. On the contrary, the fusion treasure wheel is much beautiful. The ability to fuse the treasure wheel, as the name suggests, is fusion. The magic fusion of different element systems, or the fusion of magic. It is a fusion transfer station, which can help inheritors obtain fusion magic power with a qualitative change in the quality of magic power, and can also fuse magic to enhance the power of magic power in essence, and can also break through the upper limit of magic. The power of this, Lu Ning has experienced it before. Lei Yanlong mode. In a short period of time, he obtained the fusion magic power of the thunder and fire elements, and both the quality and the magic power had an unprecedented surge, making his combat power beyond the limit. If you use Lei Yanlong mode, then the total amount of magic power just now may be increased to 30 to 40 million values, and the quality of the magic power has undergone a qualitative change, and the combat power is even more terrifying. It's just that if Lei Yanlong mode needs him to take the initiative, he needs to use the fire cloud ring, and the effect of devouring fire materials will be very slow, so it is not suitable for instant battles. With the help of the fire element ring, the rules of the ring were broken, so Lu Ning didn't use it. Lu Ning didn't think about trying to integrate the three magic powers after going to the Five Elements Maharaja Key Cemetery, to unlock the Water Flame Thunder Dragon mode, the Golden Thunder Flame Dragon mode, and so on. Because if you don't do some things, you don't know if you can succeed. But some things don't need to be done to know that they will not work. Can you lift a tank with one hand in a state of extreme rage? Could it be that you can score 750 points in the college entrance examination by working hard? Can you watch Xiao Heizi's video and not laugh? If you don't try, it's because Lu Ning knows that he can't bear it now, and if you try it rashly, you may explode and die directly. He didn't think that his current physical strength could bear the huge burden brought by the three series of magic power. However, now with the fusion treasure wheel, the magic power can be separated from the body for fusion, and it seems that the risks brought by the attempt can be ignored. Furthermore, as the number of check-ins increases, Lu Ning will acquire more and more lightning-type abilities. It would be great if some less commonly used lightning moves could be integrated with the help of fusion treasure wheel to create new lightning magic moves. As a sequence magic in the taboo magic, fusion treasure wheel itself is not very aggressive, but it will allow the inheritors to surpass their own limit of combat power. It is an existence that confuse forbidden magic. Lu Ning took out the urgent thunder gun. In an instant, the armor of destiny released a stream of golden light covering the spear, and the golden light infecting the spear became a part of the armor of destiny. It can even change skins for weapons. Under the gaze of many eyes, Lu Ning didn't want to expose some of the abilities of the armor of destiny too much, so with a thought, the armor turned into a ball of golden light and was branded on the back of Lu Ning's right hand. A golden mark is formed. The mark seems to be the word, armor, in the ancient language of God. Mom no longer has to worry about my clothes bursting when I use the big move. And the armor can also change shape. Lu Ning instantly remembered the handsome and domineering appearance of Emperor Sha's armor. But the details of the specific armor model are almost forgotten, so I can only modify it according to my own aesthetics. This trip to the secret realm of the 72 heavenly pillars has gained a lot. Li Jiaojiao. 2 kinds of serial magic inheritance, plus the casting of invincible belief is a matter of course. Then, Lu Ning pocketed Zhang Tianxi's storage ring with his little hands. Then he jumped off the ring and said to Xiao Xiao, "Go and see other places." Quote. The crowd in the audience automatically moved out of the way. The alien sighed. No one forced cheer to challenge Lu Ning with words such as coward and cowardice. They were all terrified. Lu Ning is extremely powerful, and can easily obtain the inheritance of the 2 sequence magic, and it is almost at the same time. Under such arrogance, how can anyone dare to touch Lu Ning's mold? Fusion treasure wheel. At this time, a voice sounded from behind Lu Ning, and when he looked back, it was Lu Hongxue with ruddy eyes. You can't take the fusion treasure wheel. Her tone was firm, not threatening, but stating the facts. Lu Ning then looked at the members of Tianan Guild. Seeing Lu Ning looking at him suddenly, these people were all stunned. What's the meaning? Ask as if Tianan Guild can hold on. How is this going around? The sequence magic fusion treasure wheel was probably not given to Zhang Tianxi by the Blood Emperor as a reward for winning the leader of the Tianzhou competition. Not to mention the Tianan Guild, the entire Tianan province doesn't have enough of that gap-toothed guy. Lu Ning withdrew his gaze, then looked at Lu Hongxue, also explaining the facts and said, I didn't take it, it chose me. After finishing speaking, Lu Ning glanced behind Lu Hongxue. The mages of the Qian Empire carried Zhang Tianxi's body with ashen complexions, but the girl named Zhang Yu had already fainted from crying. Lu Ning didn't feel anything. There is no blood feud between him and Zhang Tianxi. It's just that he will kill the defeated me, and I will kill the defeated him, that's all. Lu Ning, Xiao Xiao and other members of Tianan Guild left the central square area. He is going to visit the palace hall next. On the way to the palace hall, Lu Ning couldn't help asking the seniors of the guild next to him, and said, there should be 4 more sequence magics in the Tianzhu royal court. Is there any obvious news from the West City? These words made the members of the guild stunned. How did Lu Ning know the number of sequence magic in Tianzhu royal court? They were puzzled in their hearts, but Lu Ning's majesty had already been established in their hearts, so they dared not ask. Did you get the news from the book in the magic library? A voice sounded from behind, but looking back, it was Gong Shoujun leading a group of people walking towards him. Senior. Student Lu Ning. The two looked at each other and opened their mouths respectively, as if nothing happened before. Then Gong Shoujun returned to the topic and said, Wang Ting Shicheng should be real. Although most of them are attracted by the duel between you and Zhang Tianxi, there are also thousands of people fighting there. There should be no results in a while. Thousands of people. Lu Ning pondered in his heart. He is not afraid of thousands of 6th-level mages who are scattered in the sand, but if they work together, a set of magic injections will make him die at the speed of light. That is 1,006th rank mage. With concerted efforts, even a high-level magister should be a grandson when he comes. However, in this Tianzhu royal court, it is probably impossible to be completely united. In this way, that peerless figure named Feng 21, at the 6th level, cast an 8th-level magic move, killing thousands of Tianzhu Wang Tingjun in an instant. What kind of move is that? Heaven and earth live together. Lu Ning suddenly felt an extremely strong comparability. There is one more thing that I am very surprised about. Gong Shoujun continued. Lu Ning signaled him to continue talking. Before I came to Tianmingtai, I searched for many landmark buildings in Tianzhu Royal Court, including the treasure house of Tianzhu Royal Court Army. I have never seen a single magic weapon and item. If it is said that the existence of weapons and props above the 7th rank is restricted here, but the 7th rank weapons and props I brought in are hard to explain. Gong Shoujun's words attracted other people to echo him again and again. Such large-scale secret realms, high-level magic weapons and magic props can also be said to be treasures. The time barrier cannot keep the life in the royal court alive, but it should not affect the weapons and magic props. Could it be that the magic weapons and props used by the Tianzhu royal court are all endowed with life characteristics? Be taken away by someone. The Tianzhu royal court was destroyed internally, not because of external enemies. It was briefly mentioned in that book. Lu Ning didn't care, thinking that Feng Niani probably took away most of the high-level magic weapons. During the conversation, everyone came to the palace hall to forge ahead. Lu Ning was the first to bear the brunt, and pushed open the main entrance of the main hall. There was no restriction, and the gate was easily opened. As soon as the main door opened, the wind gushed in, stirring up the dust on the ground of the main hall. Those are the ashes of the dead. There were also some magic armors on the ground on both sides, which were taken away by Lu Ning. He then looked towards the throne of Tianzhu King in the main hall, and then walked up to look carefully. After a while, nothing was found. What are you standing there for? Go search for treasures. Lu Ning looked back and saw that the people following him were stuck in place, so he said something. Everyone was overjoyed. They would not dare to act without Lu Ning's permission. Now that they are allowed, they naturally spread out and began to explore the entire palace hall. Xiao Xiao didn't move, just looked down at Lu Ning beside the throne. She had known this young man not long. But in such a short period of time, this young man has created successive miracles. She looked at the young man, and felt that the young man in her eyes exuded a bright light, attracting others to gather towards him unconsciously, with him as the center. And under the dazzling light of Lu Ning, this girl with the temperament of a royal sister can't help but feel a little ashamed. Xiao Xiao. Ah, I'm here. Hearing Lu Ning's call, Xiao Xiao recovered from the trance. Come up and sit down. I saw Lu Ning sitting on the throne, looking at her with a smile in his eyes. The ashes of Tianzhu King were collected by Lu Ning. The ashes that can be sprinkled on this throne, Lu Ning knows without thinking that he is the Tianzhu King. Later, when he goes to Dongcheng Cemetery to bury Zhou Feihong, he will also be buried with King Tianzhu. Although I don't know what kind of person Tianzhu King is, whether he is a tyrant or a ruthless ruler. But judging from Zhou Feihong's diary, he took the Tianzhu man into the secret realm of the 72 Tianzhu because he carried the responsibility of inheriting the human magic civilization. Such characters are naturally worthy of respect. Lu Ning couldn't help but wonder, if there was no Feng Eri, would the people in the secret territory of Tianzhu continue to this day under the premise of strictly controlling the population? Don't you want it? BGCE. Xiao Xiao walked up to the throne, feeling a little apprehensive. Maybe there will be an agency. Lu Ning looked at her and pulled her to sit beside him. There is no agency. Instead, it activated the organ that controlled Xiao Xiao's blush. In addition to spiritual magic, do you also cast other magic? It is best to be elemental. Lu Ning then asked. Yes, I have also studied some water magic. Currently, I am most proficient at the 4th level, but I can also cast some 5th level water magic under singing. Lu Ning nodded upon hearing this. Then let Xiao Xiao cast a 5th order water magic. After Xiao Xiao finished using it, Lu Ning thought about trying to fuse her Bud-type moves with Xiao Xiao's water-type magic by fusing Baolun. The result is of course a failure. The fusion treasure wheel cannot overbearingly fuse the magic cast by others with its own magic, so as to become its own. Tisk. Lu Ning smashed his mouth, and the card bug failed. He continued to try and let Xiao Xiao only condense the simple magic power of water element. But in the end, the opponent's magic power of water element was still fused with his own magic power of thunder element. This made Lu Ning's complexion suddenly a little ugly. Is it possible that I want to obtain the magic power of the fusion of the 3 systems, and also actively learn the magic of other element systems? What a joke. No one really thinks that I, Lu Ning, are some kind of magical genius, right? He continued to try. Use the magic power of the fire element and the magic power of the thunder element stored in the fire element ring to fuse. This time it was a smooth success, and fusion Baolun showed its value. This means that Lu Ning can obtain multi-system fusion magic power through such foreign means. At present, the upper limit of the fusion number of fusion treasure wheel is unknown, so it needs to keep trying. Waiting to go back to Tianan College, I asked Dean Lu to ask for a few elemental rings that store the magic power of other elements. There are fire element rings, thunder element rings, and water element rings, earth element rings, etc. There is no need to doubt this. However, let's try to learn the magic of this world in the future. Lu Ning put away the fusion treasure wheel and said something in his heart. Zhang Tianxi's storage ring does not have a magic formula, but the things inside are not full of beautiful things. This is because Zhang Tianxi has absolute confidence in his own strength and does not need to rely on too many external things. But there are still some 7th level magic weapons and props. Other than that, there are simple living items and some recovery potions. What's this? Lu Ning suddenly picked up a blood-colored magic potion bottle and turned towards Lian Lian. The latter is also somewhat of a scholarly nature, with a wide range of cognition. If you guessed correctly, this should be a kind of drug-boiling blood potion in the sole hands of the Qian Empire. The refining conditions are extremely harsh, but after taking it, it can make your own blood boil and burn, achieving a high combat power increase effect. Blood Mage works best when used, but others are also effective. The effect of the boiling blood potion is very strong, but what is equivalent is that the sequelae it brings are also extremely exaggerated. An accidental direct blood internal combustion, self-immolation has also happened frequently. Xiao Xiao was afraid for a while. Zhang Tianxi's combat strength displayed on the Destiny stage is already comparable to the 7th rank, and it is no exaggeration to say that he can leapfrog ranks. If it wasn't for being restricted on the Destiny platform, Lu Ning might be in great danger because he has the blood-boiling potion in his hole. Lu Ning put away the boiling blood potion. Zhang Tianxi is not as good as him, but he is not as good as him. There is no if, he still has the trump card of Lei Yanlong model that he has not used yet. Lu Ning's current state is not good. Under those bursts, especially after the dragon transformation, he forcibly absorbed the power of the thunder element between heaven and earth to break through his own threshold, which brought serious side effects to his body. It's just that he has a strong physique. After he transformed into a dragon, the dragon power in his body was stimulated even more. He doesn't plan to go out to fight with other people for the time being, and he will recover to his peak state first. A few days later, Lu Ning and his party have been searching in Nuo Da's palace. Why is there no one in the palace? Are you waiting for me to search? Many mages appeared outside the palace, and it was a little strange to see the lonely appearance of the palace. There is Lu Ning and his party inside. If you dare to go, go. Lu Ning, I haven't heard of it. What kind of character is it? Zhang Tianxi must have heard of it. Of course. What kind of person Zhang Tianxi is, with his outstanding talents and peerless talents, he will surely create the glory of an era. If he suppresses his peers, he will not dare not follow. Our Zhang Tianxi is so spicy. Wows. Quote exclamation mark quote. Quote question mark quote. Really, really, stop talking nonsense here. If you don't believe me, go to the palace and try. 5 days later, sign in. Ding, the host of Yingxi obtained the ability move from the sign in reward, 3000 Thunders full version. After hearing Goldfinger's prompt, Lu Ning's eyes immediately brightened. The bloody memory of the dead suddenly strikes. The phrase, 30 years in Hedong and 30 years in Hexi, don't bully the young and poor, is constantly echoing in my mind. But the one that impressed me the most was, strength of fighting, 3 stages. For 5 consecutive days, the total amount of magic power was suppressed 5 times. In addition to the previous battle that surpassed his own threshold and inspired more dragon power, the total amount of magic power in Lu Ning's body increased to 1.8 million in one go. This 5th time, it was 3000 Thunders, and a full version was added. The full version means, Lu Ning suddenly thought of something, and immediately looked at the introduction of Sanqin Lidong full version. Looking at it, sure enough, the single, 3000 Thunders, can only be said to be a physical combat skill, converted to the power system of this world, that is, speed-boosting magic. But the real 3000 Thunders, there is limited existence. You must first master the 3000 Thunder movements before you can further master the 3000 Thunder Phantom Body, above it. After this method is completed, it can condense the Thunder Phantom Body. The strength of the Thunder Phantom Body is similar to that of the main body. The main body will not die, but the phantom body will not die. This kind of effect, outsiders can only describe it in 4 words, so terrifying. Just the fact that Lei Huan's body is as strong as the main body, is enough to make Lu Ning extremely excited. It's just that the difficulty lies in Lei Huan's body is actually condensed by the soul. That is mental power. Casting the 3000 lightning illusory body in one breath, Lu Ning might not be able to bear the pressure of the soul in an instant, and would directly turn into a vegetative state. It is worth mentioning that it is extremely difficult to cultivate the phantom body of 3000 Thunders, but for Lu Ning, this setting is equivalent to no. This is the power of Guibao. He obtained it from signing in with the golden finger, and directly mastered it. It just depends on how much strength he can display from his own background. Lu Ning, the royal palace has been looted. The total number of magical weapons and props is 2,345, most of which are 6th level, only a dozen are 7th level, and none are 8th level. There are more than 100,000 magic books, but we checked, and most of the blue stars have them. I found 3 kinds of ancient magic. Besides, there are quite a few magical potions, and there are also some lost secret medicines and secret medicine recipes. It's all here. After Gong Shoujun finished speaking, he signaled everyone to hand over their income in the past few days to Lu Ning. Among them, there should be some spoils left for themselves in private. But Lu Ning doesn't care about this. Divide it among yourself. What you found is also from the same sect, so you don't need to give it to me. Instead, he said something strange. He won't share anything that Lu Ning finds with others, but he won't take things from his companions for no reason. Of course, if mages from other forces get these things, then Lu Ning will not be polite, just bring them to you. Everyone was stunned when they heard the words, and then their faces were filled with ecstasy. No, let Lu Ning keep it for you first, the exploration of the Tianju secret realm is not over yet. Gong Shoujun shook his head. What he meant was that if other people died later, they would only give it to mages of other forces. It makes sense, write your names on all your storage items. If you really die unfortunately, I will give the things you got to your parents and family. Lu Ning nodded and replied accordingly. Go to West City. After finishing here, Lu Ning glanced in the direction of Wangding West City. Outside, at the entrance of a certain sky pillar. Zhang Wenlin, this old guy isn't dead yet. Lu Yu, a senior mage at the entrance, saw a figure and couldn't help but recognize him. He is a magister of the same level as himself, but he is withdrawn and has not dealt with him for more than 10 years. I didn't expect to see the other party here today. Then he saw the 7th rank mage named Zhang Wenlin, and he didn't seem to believe it, so he took the initiative to walk towards the entrance of the Tianju. Magister Lu Yu didn't care when he saw this. These high-ranking magisters had tried to enter the Tianju secret realm before, but none of them failed. But this time it's different. The 7th order magister Zhang Wenlin was trying, but his body was directly out of the gate, and thus he entered the secret realm of Tianju. That's right, It's not the 72 heavenly pillars that block the entry of high-ranking mages, but the sequence of magic and the law of heaven and earth. And it is Tianju King who maintains the laws of heaven and earth. Once he dies, the effects of these sequence magics will gradually disappear. There has been a change in the secret territory. Lu Yu was startled suddenly, but then ecstasy welled up in his heart. He had no intention of passing on the news at all. It must be done first. It is absolutely impossible to hide this news for a long time. At that time, the 72 pillars of heaven will become the home of the high-level magister. Yandi City of the Ruins Continent. The latest news. The latest news. The latest news from the 72 heavenly pillar secret realm is here, and someone has already obtained the sequence magic. It took 5 days for the news of Tianju's secret territory to reach Yandi City. As for the powerful mage forces, the news was naturally known the first time. After all, some forces sent mages into the secret realm of Tianju, and what they asked him to do was to deliver useful news. Zhang Tianxi, the most powerful genius in the Qian Empire's generation, spilled blood on the ring. He was forcibly beheaded by Lu Ning, the pride of Yan Empire's Tianan College. Lu Ning obtained the sequence magic Wheel of Destiny, and stole Zhang Tianxi's sequence magic fusion Baolun. The news spread like crazy in the streets of Yandi City. Who is Lu Ning? This year's freshman of Tianan College. I heard that he is also an extraordinary genius. He actually killed Zhang Tianxi. He also got 2 kinds of sequential magic laws. Okay, as expected of a member of the Yan Empire, I recognize that little guy named Lu Ning. Who are you? Hiss, isn't this really a rumor? Maid, what's the situation? Isn't the royal court in the Tianju secret realm in the time barrier? My brothers and I have great ambitions, but we were attacked by a group of cubs just after entering, and several brothers were damaged. We just came back to prepare recruiting teammates again. Why did this happen? At that time, the time barrier has been automatically dispelled, and there is a huge treasure house in the Tianju royal court. Sequential magic, ancient magic, high-level magic books, magic scholar research notes, etc. are too numerous to list, and people have already gone crazy. I just saw that a high-ranking magister had led a team to fly away from Yandi City, and I guess it's true. Ha ha ha, what is Zhang Tianxi's Tianzhao who was destroyed by our Yan Empire's Tianzhao? Qian Empire doesn't know how to feel, haha. At the same time, the news that Lu Ning defeated and killed Zhang Tianxi in Qiandi City, Huangdi City, and even the cities of foreign races in the Ruins continent spread rapidly. However, this kind of news has been questioned in a short period of time, and it is difficult to cause too much repercussions. But on the side of the high-level magisters of various forces, there is a surge of wind and clouds. Blue Star, Tianan College. What did you call me for? Bai Shui looked at the white-haired old woman in front of him, and said impatiently. In front of Lu Qingye, Bai Shui did not pretend to be cute. Lu Ning killed Zhang Tianxi in the Tianju secret realm. The news should not be false. In addition, the rules in the Tianju secret realm are being broken. The 7th level magister has been able to enter. It will not be a few days. The 8th step can also enter. Judging from the performance of this rule, it should be that the sequence of magic and law of heaven and earth is correct. Based on this calculation, the ruler of the secret territory of Tianju has only recently declared his death completely. Dean Lu sighed lightly. Sequential magic, the law of heaven and earth. The effect of this taboo magic is similar to Yu Xiaobai's contract of the gods, but it is far stronger than the latter and can make rules. Within a certain range, the smaller the range, the harder it is to break the rules. Even the 10th level magic emperor cannot ignore the taboo magic of the laws of heaven and earth. This is the power of this magic. When the leader dies, the rules and effects of the laws of heaven and earth will have a certain timeliness, and will gradually weaken until they disappear. So within a few days, let alone a 7th level magister, even a 10th level magic emperor can enter this secret realm. Ha! When Bai Shui heard it, he was stunned for a moment, then the corners of his mouth turned up, and he suddenly leaned on the sofa, laughing out loud. While smiling, she kicked her white and tender bare feet. The junior named Zhang Tianxi is the one Ling Gan likes, right? Ha ha, well done, well done. Ling Qian is the real name of the founding emperor of the Qian Empire, the Blood Emperor. Lu Qingye looked at Bai Shui laughing without appearance, but there was a little worry in his expression. What he was worried about was not that Lu Ning would get revenge for killing Zhang Tianxi. If it's just a simple duel, no one can find anything wrong, and no one will be idle to take revenge. But now that Lu Ning possesses two kinds of sequence magic, the nature is completely different. The high-ranking magisters of our own Blue Star may still have some scruples due to the prestige of the Yan Empire, but it is completely different on the foreign side. Now at this time, it is not known how many 7th-level alien races have entered the Tianzhu secret realm. Go and bring Lu Ning back. Thinking of this, Lu Qingye handed a gossip disc to Bai Shui. Seeing the Bagua Yuanpan, Bai Shui whistled lightly. 8th order magic props, heaven and earth disc. The biggest effect of this magic prop is space teleportation, which is equivalent to a magic circle that is carried with you. With it, Bai Shui can reach the nearest Tianzhu entrance in a very short time. Give it to me. Bai Shui took over the first line of heaven and earth, and was about to turn around and leave. The beast ear girl walked halfway. When she suddenly thought of something, she turned her head and said to Lu Qingye, "I don't like you at all, Lu Qingye. Even after hundreds of years, I still don't understand why Bai Ruyan accepted you as a student. Lu Ning killed Zhang Tianxi, and he will inevitably forge a belief in invincibility. The conversation I had with him before was to plant a seed in advance. If he has the temperament here, that seed will definitely germinate. Just take a look, Bai Ruyan's path is not wrong, what's wrong is that the people around her are too weak." After finishing speaking, Bai Shengwei turned around and left. After she left, Lu Qingye sighed and pushed the bridge of her nose habitually, but suddenly realized that the glasses she had used for many years had already been given to Lu Ning. She couldn't help being stunned. Looking at her eyes, she was in a daze. Back in time not long ago. Tianzhu Wangding Xicheng district. Is it all him? Get out of the way. What kind of rubbish are they all? Have you seen this one next to me, Master Lu Ning? What, you don't know who Master Lu Ning is? Well, then I'll tell you, he is a freshman from Tianan College in the Tianan province of the Yan Empire this year, creating endless legends. His radiance, like the brilliance of a bright sun, shines high in the sky, shining to the extreme. In front of him, who is calling Tianzhou? Who dares to call invincible? Shish, you won't even be seen on the stage of destiny. Lu Ning looked at Qin Zhanfang beside him, and opened his mouth for a moment, not knowing what to say. He used to think that Qin Zhanfang had no hair on his mouth, but he didn't expect that this guy's level of flattering was also first class. He took Xiao Xiao and others to the West City, and met another group of people from Tianan Guild on the way. Among them were Qin Zhanfang and Sha Liu, who had not returned to the Huang Empire as exchange students. A few days have passed since the Battle of Li Tianmingtai. It's hard to say to the outside world, but in the court of Tianzhu, everyone knows that Lu Ning beheaded Zhang Tianxi and became the veritable strongest arrogant of the Blue Star generation. At this very moment, there was a chaotic battlefield in front of us, but it stopped temporarily because of Lu Ning's arrival and Qin Zhanfang's loud shout. Is he that Lu Ning? I heard that he already has 2 sequence spells, and now he wants to fight for the third one. That fool next to him is so arrogant, I'm so pissed off. Hold it, I was at the scene of the Tianmingtai battle. This Lu Ning's strength is incomparably terrifying, and he is capable enough to kill me all in an instant. The surroundings became quiet, and the eyes focused on Lu Ning. What nonsense are you talking about? Can you control your mouth and don't cause trouble for Lu Ning? Sha Liu was extremely angry, and stared fiercely at Qin Zhanfang, who was arrogant and arrogant. Qin Zhanfang sneered, just for a sense of ceremony, why are you so serious? Women are really troublesome, thinking that everything is bright and stalwart to look good. Now that Lu Ning has become the strongest talent in the generation, then those who want to say something that doesn't fit his status should be said by the people around him. Do you want Lu Ning to yell and say, I am the new generation's most powerful talent, Lu Ning, I've taken a fancy to this place, so get out of the way. It's not suitable, and I, Qin Zhanfang, have to play this role. Lu Ning, Qin Zhanfang just doesn't keep his mouth shut, don't worry about it. Sha Liu came behind Lu Ning with a little apology, and whispered something. Yeah, Lu Ning nodded without saying anything. But what Qin Zhanfang did was indeed what he needed. He glanced at Qin Zhanfang, who immediately understood. Lord Lu Ning, this way please. Qin Jianfang immediately walked forward. This group of people is fighting at the entrance of an underground palace, which has a sequence of magic inheritance. Seeing Qin Jianfang swaggering forward, looking at Lu Ning behind him again, everyone who was fighting hesitated, but in the end they got out of the way with a sullen face. Lu Ning, you are a peerless genius, a monstrous character, and you will definitely become a big shot in the future. Now you have two kinds of sequence magic. You are a Qilin from heaven, and like that young Kunpeng, you will eventually fly high and look down on the world, and we are just a person who is struggling on the road of magic, risking our lives for the slightest chance of promotion that is almost impossible. At this time, an unyielding voice sounded loudly. Qin Jianfang followed his gaze, and the other party was more flattering than himself. The mage who spoke was an inconspicuous character, but his eyes were extremely firm at the moment. A person like you, Lu Ning, do you want to rob me of the chance that I have worked so hard to get? With just one word from you, the deaths of hundreds of dead people here are meaningless. This person's tone was passionate, expressing his will to fight unyieldingly. His words splashed water in everyone's hearts, and gradually raised their hearts of resistance in their hearts, who had succumbed to Lu Ning's despotic power. It is worth mentioning that the man did not perform any spiritual magic to mobilize the emotions of others. His words stunned the people around Lu Ning. Now that there are so many people, Lu Ning insisted on entering the underground palace after he finished speaking, fearing that it would damage his reputation. Everyone looked at Lu Ning, waiting for his response. What the hell, it's not like bragging, and it's not like scolding. However, Lu Ning smacked his mouth impatiently. Reputation. What reputation does he care about? After finishing speaking, he shook his right hand, and a thunder dragon Fengtian halberd condensed out, and threw it directly at the person who had just spoken. Flash. This move is dangerous. Maid, are you talking about you? I told you that he is Lu Ning, why did you provoke him, idiot? You can just force your mouth. If I don't die this time, I will be the first to kill you. The mages who were touched by the man's words just now changed their forms in an instant and began to curse. But they didn't really think of uniting to deal with Lu Ning. You have the courage to unite others, but you don't have the courage to really go ahead and fight. Lu Ning's trick is very familiar to many people. Immediately one by one was frightened and turned pale, as if seeing a ghost. Divine. 0. That machine gun kept throwing thunder and lightning spears, and the terrifying gesture is still vivid in my mind. Each lightning spear is powerful enough to explode a small mushroom cloud. It can block one shot, but what about dozens or hundreds of shots in the future? Not everyone has Zhang Tianxi's defensive strength. Fortunately, Lu Ning just threw a thunder dragon Fengtian halberd. He didn't even look at whether that person was killed by him, so he walked towards the underground palace again. People around have dispersed, never dare to challenge the majesty of Lu Ning again. But it's not over yet. Wait, an old voice came from behind. Lu Ning stopped immediately. Qin Jianfang glanced at Lu Ning secretly, and found that there was a trace of ferocity on the latter's face. Qin Jianfang, who had dealt with Lu Ning, didn't know yet. Lu Ning is not a good person at all. In front of him again and again, it is undoubtedly completely angering him. Lu Ning turned around. It was an old man who called him to stop him, but his old eyes were full of luster. Lu Yu is different from Zhang Wenlin. Zhang Wenlin is a solitary 7th order mage. He and Lu Yu are the latest to enter the Tianzhu secret realm. The former has not revealed his strength and is silently exploring in the Tianzhu royal court. But Lu Yu is a man of the empire. If he was the magister of the Yan Empire, the Huang Empire, or even other humble small countries, then he would definitely not provoke Lu Ning rashly. Because in the eyes of such high-level magisters, Lu Ning is not a simple junior. Behind him is a behemoth like the Yan Empire standing for him. How can he easily make a grudge? But he is a man of the empire. It is inappropriate to say revenge for Zhang Tianxi, but how could the sequence magic fusion treasure wheel allow Lu Ning to bring back the Yan Empire so easily? Seeing the octogenarian, Lu Ning had a look of surprise in his eyes, but he concealed the past very well. He had a low drink without any politeness. Really, Junior, you don't even care about high-ranking magisters. Lu Yu originally wanted to show his strength and let Lu Ning take the initiative to hand over Fusion Baolun. But now it seems that the other party doesn't take him seriously at all. He didn't believe that with the other party's monstrous talents, he would not be able to see that he was a 7th level magister. What? High-ranking magister? That's right. No wonder I think this person is a little familiar. It turns out to be Master Lu from Qian Empire. Master Lu is good at making magic weapons, and peaches and plums are everywhere. In a small country like Luo News, it is also quite famous. Quote, hiss. It's broken. Doesn't it mean that the high-level magister can enter this secret realm? Yes. We will have nothing to do here soon. Hurry. Don't think about sequence magic. Go to other places in the royal court to search for benefits, as much as you can. Wait a minute, it seems that a fight is about to start. Why don't we stay and watch the show? When they realized that a high-ranking magister had entered the secret realm, everyone was shocked. And seeing the appearance of Lu Ning and Lu Yu facing each other at this moment, some people couldn't help but want to stay and watch the excitement. After listening to Lu Yu's words, Lu Ning did not reply. He just looked at Lu Yu like this, waiting for the other party's next words. Seeing that Lu Ning was very calm, Lu Yu was inexplicably angry. Zhang Tianxi was defeated by Lu Ning, and now he has Fusion Baolun. In terms of real combat power, he is probably stronger than himself. He, Lu Yu, is indeed a 7th order magister. The gap between high-level magisters and middle and low-level mages is also as huge as a gap, but for some extremely enchanting geniuses, such a gap is not really unbreakable. Lu Yu is not a high-ranking officer in the empire, but after all he has the ability to refine weapons and has many contacts. I have heard from his circle that Zhang Tianxi's strength is enough to defeat some 7th level magisters with average combat power. This is also the reason why the Qian Empire only sent a few hundred people to the secret realm of Tianzhu. Yuji is synonymous with monsters, such as Zhang Tianxi and the current Lu Ning. If they don't even have a record of leapfrogging, how can they be called the strongest geniuses of the Blue Star generation? After all, he has lived long enough, and Lu Yu is very clear in his heart. He is not the type to delve into magic battles, and he doesn't want to really fight with Lu Ning. Thinking of this, seeing that Lu Ning did not put on a proud posture, his expression eased, and he said, "No matter what the outcome of the duel between juniors, I and the elders should not intervene. But you took away the sequence magic of the Qian Empire, the fusion treasure wheel. As a mage of the Qian Empire, I have the responsibility and this obligation to ask for this magic return." Lu Ning nodded upon hearing this, and then replied, "After I leave this Tianzhu secret realm, you can try to discuss this matter with my elders, instead of saying such reasonable-sounding words now that I have no elders by my side." If after Lu Ning returned to Tianan Academy, the Qian Empire sent people to pressure him to hand over the sequential magic fusion treasure wheel, and the Academy also asked Lu Ning to hand in 653, then of course Lu Ning would hand it over. He is not ignorant of the times. It's just that he will definitely cut off all ties with Tianan College after that, and will also leave Yan Empire. However, Lu Ning felt that the possibility of the Academy not protecting him should not be great. Lu Ning has the record of beheading the strongest Tianzhao of the previous generation, not to mention Tianan College. Yan Empire itself will protect him. In other words, when Lu Ning leaves here and returns to the Yan Empire, under normal circumstances no one will talk to him about handing over the fusion treasure wheel. Even if the Qian Empire puts more pressure on it, the Yan Empire will resist it. Lu Ning will definitely return to Tianan College. Whether or not the fusion Baolun returns will be a turning point for him to establish an inseparable relationship with Tianan College, or to part ways. Naturally, Lu Yu could hear the sarcasm in Lu Ning's words. This matter, there is no room for maneuver. But Lu Yu did not change his words. He knows better than Lu Ning. Once Lu Ning returns to the Yan Empire, how can the fusion treasure wheel be returned? Do you really want to fight? I'll go. Lu Ning is not afraid of Master Lu at all. Of course, you also watched the battle at the Tianmingtai. Both Zhang Tianxi and Lu Ning showed superior combat power. Master Lu has studied the way of refining weapons painstakingly. He is probably not good at fighting. It is Lu Ning's opponent. It will definitely be able to leapfrog. I have heard before that Zhang Tianxi can leapfrog to defeat the 7th rank magister under the limit explosion. This statement is also biased. I don't deny that evil characters like Zhang Tianxi and Lu Ning can pass the 6th level to the 7th level. But because Master Lu is a master of crafting, he probably has a large number of magic weapons and props. But there is no restriction on prohibiting the use of the Tianming platform. You're right, but Lu Ning is such a monstrosity, there's no reason why the senior management of Tian'an College shouldn't give him some high-level weapons and props. Have you forgotten? Lu Ning also inherited the armor of destiny, and that armor looks like it carries a kind of defensive forbidden magic. Although the mages around kept retreating, their eyes were always on Lu Ning, and their discussions did not stop. Lu Yu's face turned ugly when he heard the wanton talk of the surrounding mages. Among these idle eggs who have nothing to do but watch others fight, it seems that most of them think that Lu Yu is not Lu Ning's opponent. But the more this happened, the more Lu Yu didn't dare to attack Lu Ning lightly. So Lu Yu said, "It's not what I want to fight against the younger generation. I'll give you a quarter of an hour to think about it. If you still don't want to return the fusion treasure wheel at that time, then don't blame the old man for his size." Lu Ning has not responded yet. Xiao Xiao's spiritual sound transmission sounded in his mind. Lu Ning, this old man is stalling for time. He is not sure to take you down by himself. Since he can come in, then the 7th level or even 8th level and 9th level great magisters of other dry empires can also come in. Once they come faster than our elders from Tian'an College, there will be very dangerous. Stop talking nonsense with him, you can't stay here anymore, hurry up and leave the sky to go to the secret realm. Xiao Xiao was already smart, so she couldn't see Lu Yu's procrastination at this moment. Lu Ning also noticed it, and she was speechless, as the elder of the other party wanted to confide in the younger generation like him. Really, the longer you live, the more you worry about gains and losses. You lose the passion you had when you were a teenager, and you lose the motivation to move on. You become content with the status quo, and you subconsciously avoid fighting. We dare not even mention the game and the challenge. I don't know whether Lu Ning will also lose his vigor with the passage of time after Lu Ning. Xiao Xiao, you and others leave here, don't come with me. Lu Ning responded to Xiao Xiao in his mind. Then he glanced regretfully at a certain sequence of magic waiting to be passed down in the underground palace, and turned into a thunderbolt and galloped away into the distance. With a bang, while he was running at an explosive speed, a large pit appeared on the ground instantly, filled with dust and smoke. He doesn't know what sequence magic is in the underground palace, but it will take a certain amount of time to take it away. Like the armor of destiny, one knows its existence, but there is no possibility of seeing it unless one goes to the destiny platform. He doesn't have enough time. Now that Tianju's secret realm has become a high-end game, it means that it is beyond his ability. The harvest here is enough. Want to go. Seeing that Lu Ning was about to disappear from his sight in a blink of an eye, Lu Yu felt very anxious. He didn't expect that such a genius and evildoer would escape so simply. With a flip of his right hand, an item was taken out of the storage ring. It was a talisman. Empty talisman. Lu Yu immediately activated the ability of this talisman. He saw Lu Ning, who was about to disappear in front of his eyes. Suddenly the airflow stagnated, and immediately formed a transparent cube that directly held Lu Ning. Boom. Click. Lu Ning hit the air wall at an unabated speed, and at the same time as there was a huge shock, cracks appeared in the air wall, which looked like it was about to shatter. But Lu Ning smashed into the air wall, directly smashing his whole body into a puddle of lightning. Magic clone. Not good. This kid. Seeing this scene, Lu Yu's heart skipped a beat, only to feel the word danger floating on the back of his head. Lu Ning did not run away directly. He just stepped on the ground with both feet, blasted a big hole in the ground and raised dust and smoke that obstructed his vision, and immediately cast the thunder clone technique. Right in front of Lu Yu. How could Lu Yu react? When he used the Gukong talisman, Lu Ning had already aimed at this opportunity to launch a thunder offensive. Poof! A red-dyed gun tip protruded from Lu Yu's back vest. And in front of Lu Yu was Lu Ning, who pierced his heart with a lightning gun. Feeling the terrifying power of the lightning gun in the body about to burst out, Lu Yu roared continuously at the moment of life and death, but Sheng Sheng used the demonized heart energy to stop Lu Ning's explosive power, giving him a chance to breathe. And this opportunity was indeed seized by the 7th Order Magister. A small wooden figure suddenly appeared in Lu Yu's hand, and the small wooden figure immediately turned into a green water curtain to cover Lu Yu as a whole. Thunderbolt. Boom boom boom. The physical body of a 7th order magister is not that strong. If Lu Ning pierces his body with a lightning gun, without any special means, he is no different from a dead person. But although Lu Yu is not strong in frontal combat, he has many means to win. The fighting methods of magicians vary from person to person, and there are hundreds of battles, each with its own merits. Using foreign means is a kind of magician's strength, so how can it be said to be embarrassing? Lu Yu's flash body exploded, but he didn't see any rain of blood. Instead, Mu Yang, who was shattered into slag, exploded towards the surroundings with splashing electric arcs like a goddess scattering flowers. A special magic item that can transfer damage to a substitute. Lu Ning frowned. After deliberately designing a sneak attack situation, he still failed to kill the 7th level mage, which shows that the high level mage is not as easy to kill as he imagined. Look at Lu Yu again. This Master Lu in the eyes of others is extremely pale at the moment, and his lips are trembling uncontrollably. Luck. Lu Yu knew better than anyone that he was able to live because of luck. Most of the 7th level magister's heart demonization has only been completed by a quarter, and Lu Ning's lightning gun did not hit his demonized heart part. This allowed Lu Yu to use the pure magic power of Mokuai's heart at the first time, and wrap the thunder gun with magic power to delay Lu Ning's eruption. If he directly hits the demon's heart, he won't have any reaction time, and the demon's heart will not be damaged, but other parts of his body will definitely explode into suntan flesh in an instant. Lu Ning's face was gloomy. He didn't expect that the high-level magister's heart was pierced, but it could not be called a fatal injury. Sure enough, after the demonization of the heart, the life level of the magician has undergone a leap. Lu Ning is right to choose the heart. Even if Lu Yu's head had been stabbed just now, he could immediately gather all his spiritual consciousness on Mokuai's heart, allowing the heart to temporarily function as the brain. After that, through the special flesh and blood magic scroll, the head will grow back, and the spiritual consciousness will return to its original position. This is the magic of magic. There are only abilities you can't think of, there are no abilities that it doesn't exist, and there are differences in strength and weakness. You really want to die, Junior? Lu Yu suddenly shouted. Then he threw his hands violently, and he spilled all the talismans all over the sky. Lu Ning was taken aback by this multi-treasure fighting style. But the real astonishment is still behind. Lu Ning never thought that Lu Yu had no intention of fighting him to the death from the very beginning. The old man had long since lost his will to fight to the death. He was simply waiting for the appearance of other high-ranking mages from the Qian Empire, but now he didn't seem to dare to wait any longer. The talismans all over the sky exploded together. Like planting a fixed-point bomb in the sky, let the whole sky detonate completely. Under the overwhelming momentum, Lu Yu fled towards one side without looking back. The head of the dragon. Roar. However, the good times did not last long. Lu Yu was always paying attention to the possibility of Lu Ning chasing him from behind, but he forgot that the time he procrastinated did not wait for the appearance of the Qian Empire mage, and he might not be able to wait for the appearance of other high-level magisters. A dragon's roar mixed with pain suddenly sounded. Below Lu Yu, a young man covered his right shoulder with one hand, and his right arm turned into the head of a huge ferocious dragon in an instant. The evil dragon opened its mouth wide and swallowed Yu in one gulp. Then the dragon turned into an arm again, and the young man opened his mouth, spitting out large pieces of bones one after another. Bah! This old bai's meat is really unpalatable. This young man has a strange face, and what he has done is even more creepy. However, wealth shouldn't disappoint me. That's great. It's a good decision to guard the entrance of this secret realm and prepare to sneak attack people who don't like it, ha ha ha. The evil young man Limo spit out some magical storage items from his mouth and let out a few strange laughs. Run! The mages watching around were stunned for a moment, and then someone yelled loudly, and all of them fled frantically towards the rear immediately. Because it's not just a high-ranking magister who is an evil young man. There are several other figures. There are human mages, and there are also those from alien races. I really don't know how to live or die, knowing that a high-ranking mage can enter this secret realm, but dare to stay. Alright, I just learned from the brats in the clan that this human brat is the strongest young arrogance among humans, wouldn't it be a pleasure to kill him? There's so much nonsense, what corners do you have to turn if you want sequence magic? Each according to means. There are a total of 7 7th level magisters, 3 to humans, and 4 aliens. Judging from the expressions of the human magisters, they were clearly not good people, and they had no fear of Lu Ning's identity, and only had sequence magic in their hearts. Lu Ning was just thinking that high-level magisters are not easy to kill. This time, 7 people appeared in one breath, and they all coveted the fusion treasure wheel and the armor of destiny on him. Seeing that Lu Ning was surrounded by 7 high-level powerhouses, there was no way out. Many people who are fleeing this area are full of silence. Will Lu Ning, who is as bright as the scorching sun, have to fall in such a dramatic way? Especially those arrogances who are also of the younger generation, they can't tell the taste in their hearts. Xiao Xiao. Seeing that Xiao Xiao was about to go back, Xiao Xingyu immediately grabbed his opponent and shouted angrily. What's wrong with you? What's your strength? The past will only add to Lu Ning's troubles and make him more burdensome. My younger sister has always been smart and intelligent, how could she be so stupid at this moment? Mad, is it really a luxury to expect a woman to remain rational forever? I have the 10,000 miles teleportation talisman, as long as Lu Ning lasts long enough, he can get out of trouble with this talisman. Xiao Xiao shook off her big brother's hand and walked towards Lu Ning's direction. She was very smart and didn't get too close. After all, Lu Ning was already surrounded, and she couldn't get around the 7 high-level powerhouses. She could only hope that Lu Ning would break out of the encirclement, and then respond by herself, and the two of them cast the 10,000 miles shifting talisman together to leave here with the power of space teleportation. When Xiao Xiao forced herself to calm down. Ha ha ha, so many black fans. At this moment, Xiao Xiao heard Lu Ning's unafraid laughter. The laughter was so resounding that the footsteps of the people who jumped out of this area couldn't help but stop. Subconsciously looked towards the rear. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.